the honor of sharing with you some key insights to help you build your ASEA business. One thing that I wanted to share with you before we get started is a little bit about how I came to be involved with ASEA as a friend of the company, I guess you would say. I've been in the industry a little over 20 years. I'll touch on my background, but I have developed a relationship with a lot of the top people in ASEA, been fortunate enough to help a lot of the top people in ASEA, and have a good working relationship and friendship with some of the ownership and corporate staff. Originally what happened was about at the inception, I think it was about 8 years ago, at the inception of ASEA, I was in Salt Lake City and I was in another meeting getting ready to go to the airport. A friend of mine said, "You absolutely have to meet this gentleman. He's incredible. You're going to love him. He's going to be doing some really amazing stuff." And I said, I don't really have the time. So, I'm going to have to pass. And he said, no, this guy's incredible. You've never met an individual like this. His integrity, his success, everything. And so I said, okay, fine. So we stopped on the way to the airport. I was getting ready to fly out. And we stopped on the way to the airport. And I walked in and I met a gentleman named Vertus Norton. There was a small little office. It was about 6 people in the office. We sit down, we started talking, and he started to share a little bit about his background. And what was interesting is as he was sharing a little bit about his background, I realized he had basically run Kraft Foods. He was the vice president of operations for Kraft Foods internationally. And as fate would have it, his predecessor was my best friend in college, his father, Daryl Boddicker. So Vertus knew Daryl very well. We instantly had a history together. And as we proceeded to speak, he started to talk about the technology that ASEA had and his intention to literally take this out to change the health and well-being of people all over the world. I was blown away when I heard about the technology. Absolutely blown away. I didn't understand everything, but I knew there was something special, and I knew there was something special about this man. At the time, it wasn't good timing for me to be able to, get involved with ASEA, as I was already very involved with my existing career. But I did tell Vertus, I said, one day, I don't know how, but one day I would like to help your company if I can, because I believe in what you're doing. And he said, I hope you can do that. Flash forward several years later, I was in a small test on some Facebook ads. I was wanting to understand and learn how Facebook worked. And so I was doing a little testing. And I had put some of my training modules up on Facebook so people could have access just to see how the marketing worked, because I wanted to understand it for future projects. I received a phone call and a woman said, I need you to talk to my friend. And I said, well, I really don't have a lot of time to talk to a lot of people. What are we talking about? She said, you just have to talk to her. I said, okay, fine. So I was put on the phone with a woman who got on the phone and said, listen, I just want to tell you, your training on recruiting, the psychology of recruiting and the psychology of how to go about approaching people, including the scripts that you gave, were the best I've ever heard in the industry. And I said, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. I said, what company are you with? And she said, I'm with a company called ASEA. And I said, ASEA? That sounds really familiar. I think I met a guy named Vertus Norton from ASEA. Does that sound familiar to you? And she said, yeah, that's my father. I said, you're kidding me. She said, nope. So that started my relationship and friendship with Nancy Norton Thurnell. We became friends over the last number of years. And over that time, Nancy would typically pick my brain on some insights that I could share with her for not only her business, but ASEA in general. And so we had countless hours and months and months and months of years of conversations about some of the experience that I've had that could be helpful to ASEA. And that relationship had continued over a period of time. From that relationship, I was introduced to several top people in the company, and I guess my relationship with the company, trying to be helpful for all the distributors in ASEA, kind of really was solidified at that point. Recently, just last Thursday, I shared, Nancy was also hosting, and I shared a discussion that I believe was placed on ASEA United, and it was called Unlocking the Code to Momentum. I shared some concepts about how to build momentum so that you could have a broad overview of some of the key concepts on how momentum's created, how it works, how to sustain it. And these were broad concepts. And it turned into a discussion that was a discussion on several aspects of momentum. And it was quite a lengthy discussion. For those of you who watched it, it turned into quite a long discussion of in-depth insights around momentum. That was fantastic. I love discussions around how to do things in network marketing. But what I'd like to do today is I would like to give you an actual training that I have created, which is how to create momentum by duplicating leaders within 30 to 60 days. Now, I want to repeat that. How to create momentum by duplicating leaders within 30 to 60 days. Now, what I'm going to share with you is not a discussion. This is a formula that has been proven through millions and millions of distributors globally. And I'm going to touch on that in a moment. So I want to do an actual training for you, which is a step-by-step breakdown around creating momentum and duplicating leaders within 30 to 60 days. Now, a lot of times people hear the word momentum. A lot of people throw around the word momentum, but not a lot of people really know what it is. Most distributors in network marketing or most associates don't even know what it looks like. So they wouldn't know what momentum actually is if they saw it, because they have not experienced it yet. It's a very rare thing to be in momentum. But once you have it, you know you have it, because it is a wave that takes you beyond what you ever thought was possible. Another key point that I'm going to cover now is duplicating leaders within 30 to 60 days. Now, don't make any mistake with what I'm about to say. Duplicating leaders in 30 to 60 days. Not every associate that comes into your business can be a leader within 30 to 60 days. I am talking about identifying the right people that you could take from start to being independent of you with their own team growing within 30 to 60 days. Most people, even top leaders, have never seen how to do that and don't know how to do that. I'm going to share some of those key concepts with you tonight around the overall concept of how to create momentum. So get your notepads out. I believe this is getting recorded so it could be posted so you could watch it over and over again. But my intention behind sharing this with you is that when you walk away, you're going to know exactly the strategy and what to do in order to start to shift your entire business in a way that you had not previously ever imagined. Now, just so you understand that I'm not, kind of talking in theory here, here's some of the top leaders that have been trained by me, some of the top ASEA leaders that have been trained by me. Now, this isn't everybody, but these are some of the names that I'm sure all of you would recognize. Deb Wetzler, Triple Diamond. Malcolm Sword, who I just recently heard was promoted at the last convention and gave a very moving talk about his journey. Cindy and Bo Buck, Dan Doyle, Morten Anderson in Europe, Sepp Hawk and Jessa Moss, Bart and Melissa Cotter, and Robin Nelson out in Australia. These are just a few of the many that I have taught these strategies and systems to in ASEA that are having massive, massive success. So it is not theory. This is backed up by actual results, and it's not just backed up by actual results in other companies, it's backed up by results in ASEA. Now, just to give you a little background, I don't really like talking about myself, but I feel it's necessary for you to understand a little bit about my background for those of you who do not know me, because it's going to allow you to understand when I'm speaking, I am speaking from incredible amounts of experience. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is not up for debate. There is no question, does it work? It is proven internationally over the last 20 years in companies all over the world. So in my background, just to kind of give you a scope of what I'm talking about, I have been involved in developing companies internationally, both inside and outside the network marketing space for over 30 years. In network marketing, I was the overall #1 producer for one of the largest companies ever in network marketing history. That is still one of the largest companies ever in network marketing history. In fact, my organization ended up making up about half of that company, which is still growing. Until I sold my business for personal reasons, I was very actively involved in mentoring others within my business. That team, which I created from my living room with no experience at all, from the very first day I got started and recruited my first person, that team has now grown to over 600,000 distributors and over $1 billion in sales. That's not the company. That's my team. My team has done that. So if you can imagine what that means, that is bigger than most companies would ever be. That's the team that I created from scratch with no experience necessary. And I did it with the system from some of these concepts that I'm going to share with you today. In addition, I have personally mentored over 200 industry top money earners worldwide from different companies. Some of the biggest names in the biggest companies in the industry, I have been fortunate enough to personally mentor. Usually people will call me, top producers will call me or get a hold of me when they want to take their business to the next level. So a lot of times you'll see people at $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, $50,000 a month that want to take their business, let's say, to 6 figures a month. Or I've had people who are at $100,000 a month that wanted to go to $200,000 a month, and they didn't quite know how to do that, how to make the jump, how to manage all of it. So that's usually where I get asked to mentor these top earners, is when they want to take their business to a whole nother level, but they don't necessarily have the systems in place to be able to expand to that kind of growth. I've also designed training systems for some of the largest network marketing companies in the industry, where I've actually given the scripts, the step-by-step system, the text messages, everything that all the distributors need, from presentations, trainings, social media, you name it, every single word, step-by-step that distributors need to be able to be successful. I've designed those, customized those for some of the biggest companies, the most successful companies in the world. I've consulted for the owners, directly to the owners of companies with revenues over $10 billion. So I usually get brought in to work directly with the owners, not the staff, but the owners, on exactly how to strategize and implement the systems necessary to take their company, usually from, let's say, 30, 40, 50, 100 million to over $1 billion. I've also designed training systems that have been used by top producers and these companies globally. So what that means is the equivalent of, thousands of top producers have been using parts or all of my system, and millions of distributors worldwide. So what I'm going to share with you is actually proven over the last 20 years, not just in my own organization, but it's been proven to the companies I've consulted with. Now, I'm not a distributor. I have not been a distributor for years and years. Fortunately, when I consult for companies, I get paid in a very unique way So I have no need to be a distributor. So I'm not coming to you as a distributor, as someone who will be a distributor again in the industry. I'm coming to you as someone with this kind of experience that has formed a friendship and a relationship with the ownership of your company and with some of the top people in your company, and with the true desire to help your company. I believe in what you're doing. I think you have something very, very unique. You have a product and a technology that nobody else on the planet has, and nobody else on the planet can even come close to. You have a compensation plan, which is incredible. In fact, for the same amount of work that I did in my network marketing career, I would probably be earning 8 to 10 times more with your comp plan, with no extra work. You have an incredible compensation plan. It's one of the better ones I've seen. And I've actually designed compensation plans for companies. So you've got the technology and the products, you have the compensation plan, and you have the ownership. You have ownership that actually cares about the distributors, that has integrity and always wants to do the right thing. They could have done things just for money over the last 8 years, 10 years, but they didn't. They want to build a long-term business that is in the best interest of all of you and everyone to come. That is very rare in the industry. If you've been around the industry long enough, there's not a lot of really great companies out there that have integrity in the owners, have a compensation plan that favors the representative, and has a product or a technology that is unique. You guys are sitting on a gold mine. So what I'd like to do is kind of share some of the concepts that I have been fortunate enough to learn over these last number of years that I know for a fact can help you build your business in a way that you've never seen. My intention that I set years ago was to do everything I could to use my gifts, use my talents to help people shift consciousness on the planet and to create better lives for everybody. That's been my mission. That is my goal. And that is something I work on every day of the week. It is something I'm extremely passionate about. And by helping ASEA and its top distributors, I feel that that's helping me fulfill my ideal scene for my life's mission. So with that, with your permission, I'd like to share what it takes to actually be successful and to create the momentum and to be able to do the things we want to do to have the organization we want to have. So here we go. Success. This is a quote that I feel is right on point with not only network marketing, but with life. Every next level of life will require a different you. Every next level of life will require a different you. What does that actually mean? That means if you want a better relationship, you're going to have to shift and become a different person in order to have a better relationship. It's not about your partner. If you want to have better friendships or better friends, you're going to have to shift and become a better person. If you want to have a better business, career, or network marketing business, you're going to have to grow, you're going to have to shift, and you're going to have to become someone that you have not yet become. A lot of people have said network marketing is a personal growth program with a compensation plan attached to it. That is absolutely true. Your team, where your team is now, what's happening in your organization, your volume, your leadership or lack thereof, your income is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you internally. Your outer world will always reflect what's going on internally. And the shifts that you need to make in your personal belief system and in what you think, how you feel, how you control those thoughts and feelings and beliefs and decisions throughout each and every day are going to be the determining factor for the level of success you're going to reach and how many other people you're going to help reach their level of success. So understand that everything I'm sharing with you right now is predicated on the premise that every next level will require a different you. You could get concepts from me, you can get scripts from me, You can get all the tools and it won't matter. You have to have a shift inside of you. A shift comes from a decision. The word decide comes from the Latin root word, which means to kill off. Think about it. Genocide, pesticide, suicide, homicide. When you make a decision, you kill off any other possibility from existence. Any new course of action, anything new we create in our life, any new shift, any new outcome in our life that is outside our normal patterns comes from a decision that is made. I hope by the end of this training, you will decide that you're willing to do whatever you need to do to shift, to go to the next level of your life, whether it's for your ASEA business, whether it's for your relationships, whether it's for your friendships, whether it's for how you feel as far as the peace of mind in your life or the sense of joy. I hope that you make a decision. It doesn't matter where you are today. I don't care if you're triple diamond or just starting out as a new associate. I hope that this leads you to be inspired to make a decision to move to the next level of your life. And it will require a different you, but it is actually more simple than you think. Now, one of the key things I want to share with you that everyone must know is there's something called the illusion of awareness. This is really, really critical because when you get started in your network marketing business, or whether you're D300, D700, it doesn't matter if you're bronze, it doesn't matter if you're platinum, it doesn't matter if you're gold, it doesn't matter if you're diamond, double diamond, or triple diamond. You always are battling these illusions of awareness. And so I'm going to touch on these very quickly because it's really critical for everything you do moving forward in your business. There are 3 areas of awareness. On the upper left, there's what we know, okay? What we know. These are things that we're aware of that we know, For example, I know how to drive a car. I'm aware that I know how to drive a car. Therefore, it's in the know category. I actually know how to speak Spanish a little bit. I'm aware that I know how to speak Spanish. Therefore, I know how to speak Spanish. I know how to ice skate. I played ice hockey since I was little. I'm aware that I know how to ice skate. Therefore, I know how to ice skate. That is the category of what you know. Everybody comes to the table in life after years and years of development. We come to the table with what we know. Those are the things that we're consciously aware of, and we know that we know them. I know it's a little play on words, but it actually is going to make sense. When you start out in your ASEA business or your network marketing business, you come to the table with certain things that you know. You know them from an industry outside of network marketing. You know them from life outside of network marketing. So you have what you know outside of network marketing. And for those of you who have been involved in ASEA for a period of time, you have what you know inside of network marketing in the culture and the system of ASEA. So that's what you know. The second group is what you don't know, okay? This is the area that you're not aware of, and you're aware that you don't know it. So for example, I don't know how to speak Chinese. I've given that example before. I'm very clearly aware that I don't know how to speak Chinese. I don't know how to skydive, nor do I want to, but I'm aware that I don't know how to skydive. I don't know how to speak Russian, and I'm aware that I don't know how to speak Russian. I can understand a little, but I don't know how to speak it. So these are the areas that we are consciously aware of that we don't know how to do. For example, in network marketing, you may be aware that you don't know how to do a presentation in 30 minutes or less and still close 90% of the room. You may be aware that you don't know the proper language of what to say to a new distributor when they get started because you've never been taught it and you're aware of that. So that's the category of what we call what you don't know. And then there's this third category. This is equivalent to our unconscious mind. This is the area that we don't know we don't know. We're not even aware that we don't know it. For example, whenever I sit down with people, if I'm speaking to them about business, I'm going to look in their right eye. If I speak to them about personal matters and drawing emotion, I'm going to look in their left eye. Why? Because of the way the human mind processes information, I am aware, and I've studied this, so I know which eye to look in to get a specific reaction or to have someone digest the information more effectively. You may not even have known or been aware that that's something you could know. Some of you have maybe heard of mirroring and matching. Some of you maybe haven't heard of mirroring and matching. But when you sit down across from somebody, this is another example. When you sit down across from somebody, if they put their hand on their chin and you pause for maybe a minute or 2 minutes, and then you casually put your hand on your chin and match them or mirror them per se, and then they kind of lean back and cross their arms, and then after a minute or two, you lean back and cross your arms, they may not be aware, but what you're doing is you're mirroring them. And by matching their body language or their movements or the speed of their delivery of their vocabulary or what they're saying or the tone in which they're saying things, by matching their behavior, they are unconsciously becoming more comfortable with you than they normally would be. They're not conscious of it, but unconsciously they're starting to feel comfortable with you because they feel unconsciously their brain is processing that what they're looking at, the person they're looking at, is like them. And because it processes that you're like them, they feel more comfortable. Now, these are some of the things in network marketing that can be used when you're giving presentations or when you're speaking to people that you may not have even been aware of. So that's the category of what we don't know, we don't know. We don't know it, and we're not even aware of the fact that if we did know it, it could really help our business. What I'm going to focus on, some training information and techniques in the category of what you don't know, you don't know. Some of you have heard these terms, but I know and I'm aware that you may not have been taught these strategies. So some of this may seem new. Some of this may go against what you believe is how to build a network marketing business. Again, the things that I'm going to share with you are not up for debate. They work. They are documented. They are documented in my own team. They are documented in every top producer I've ever mentored that has exponentially increased their business and every company I've ever consulted for. They are documented. So that's not up for debate. So rather than listen to this training trying to figure out if I'm right or if I'm wrong on what I'm saying, please just take an open mind and try to look at this from a perspective that these are things that you maybe don't know that you don't know. They might be beneficial to you if you can bring them into your awareness. Look at it from that perspective. I know without any question, after all my years, that if you apply even a fraction of what I'm going to share with you, it can change your business and your life forever. So let's talk about network marketing specific. Success in network marketing. Financial success in network marketing is achieved by identifying people who are interested in the business model and growing a distribution channel from those people. Let me repeat that. Financial success in network marketing is achieved by identifying people who are interested in the ASEA business model. That means the company, that means the technology, that means the compensation plan. It does not only mean the product. It's the entire business model. It is how they can earn money and earn success. That is what people are interested in, no matter what you think. And I'm going to share a very powerful statistic in one moment that's going to probably shock a lot of you, but it is the business model. So financial success is achieved by identifying people who are interested in the ASEA business model and growing a distribution channel from those people. A distribution channel basically looks like this. It is set up so that you have a tremendous number of people spread out. I guess ASEA is now in 31 countries, everyone doing a little bit. So a distribution channel is a whole large number of people all doing a little bit every single day. And when you take a product like the new nutritionals that you guys just launched and you put that down the distribution channel, it goes globally in 31 countries within 30 days because you have a distribution channel already set. Now, ASEA has a distribution channel of associates set up in 31 countries now. I believe that's the accurate number. So ASEA has achieved a very solid beginning of a distribution channel in 31 countries. The question is, have you yet achieved your personal distribution channel in one country, in more than one country? How big is your personal distribution channel? How big is your channel that if you brought something new and you introduced it to your channel, it would go out? Because it doesn't matter how big ASEA is. You won't reach your goals just by being a part of it. A lot of people come into network marketing and they think just because they get all excited and they get all wound up and they think, oh, just because I'm a part of it, just because I'm doing something, it's going to take me with it. And as ASEA becomes one of the biggest companies ever in the world, I'm going to have success just because I'm a part of it. That is not true. Is ASEA going to go on and go to 50 countries, 100 countries? Yes, I believe so. Will it become a global brand name? I believe so. But that doesn't do anything for you if you don't have your own personal distribution channel. So I want to talk to you about the reality and the shortest, fastest method to build a global distribution channel. Now, I'm going to share with you here the big picture strategy for you building a distribution channel, for you having the life that you dream of. And I don't care if it's an extra $5,000 a month, because I know an extra $5,000 a month can change people's lives. I remember a few years back, a friend of mine is one of the largest bankruptcy attorneys in the United States. And he had shared with me that the average family that went into bankruptcy only needed an extra $230 a month to avoid bankruptcy. It's amazing, just $230 a month. Think about how many different people in the United States alone that could have been saved from bankruptcy if they had just known about ASEA. Again, we don't have to talk about huge numbers right now. Let's just talk about making the car payments. Let's just talk about never having to worry about your mortgage ever again. Let's talk about having the kids' college tuition taken care of, where you never have to think about it. It's done. They are assured to have that paid for, and you don't have to stress about it. So I want to talk to you about the strategy of how you can achieve your goals, whatever they are, whether it's $200 a month, whether it's a car payment, a house payment, whether $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, I don't care if it's $250,000 a month. These strategies will get you there if you use them exactly as they are taught to you and you apply them. So the big picture strategy in network marketing, regardless of what you have been told, is to build teams of people to help you identify independent leaders. Now, I want you to listen to my language very carefully. Your strategy for success in network marketing is to build teams of people. Let's stop there. It is to build teams of people. It is to build a distribution channel. Again, the strategy in network marketing, if you look at anyone who has been successful at any level, in network marketing? It's because they've learned how to build teams of people. So your goal is to build teams of people that are going to help you identify independent leaders. Identify independent leaders, not go out and try to make somebody a leader. It's to find independent leaders. So your goal is you want a whole army of people out there talking to people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, feeding you people to help you identify independent leaders that will advance your distribution channel, okay? Now, the most important results to achieve in a network marketing business, these are the two most critical, mission critical results that you need to achieve in your network marketing business. Number one is a term that you've probably heard, but maybe have never seen. It's called momentum. Number two is identifying, mentoring, and duplicating leaders. These are the two most important things you could ever learn how to do in network marketing to achieve whatever goals you have. You want to achieve your ideal life, you must master these two things: momentum, identifying, mentoring, and duplicating leaders. I don't care what anyone else tells you. These are the two most important things. And if someone else is telling you that, other things are more important, then I just say this. I used to say this in network marketing all the time as a distributor, and I'll say it again. When somebody can show me that their team is bigger than my team, then I'm going to start listening to them. Until that point, I actually know what I'm talking about. So for whatever it's worth for you, with all my background and my experience, I want you to really capture what I'm saying. Take a picture of this if you need to. Put it on your refrigerator, put it on your mirror. The most important results to achieve are momentum. Number two, identifying, mentoring, duplicating leaders. Let's talk about both tonight, okay? That's what I want to do. Now, there is a step-by-step, word-for-word, cookie-cutter system on how to do this, on how to create momentum, on how to identify, mentor, and duplicate leaders, and how to build a team that is going to grow exponentially beyond you. This system is not up for debate. The system works, period. This system has been tested, has been tried, has been proven over and over and over again, distributor by distributor, top money earner by top money earner, top producer by top producer, company by company, country by country, worldwide. It works. It is a cookie cutter system. Everything that you think might work has been tried and tested. You are not the first person in network marketing. There have been plenty of top leaders in network marketing over the years that have had massive success, have built massive organizations, and have tried everything. Have tried what to say, changing it, how to present, changing it, how to train, change that, how to close. It's all been tried. This is the most streamlined system that I have seen over the last 20 years, and the results have shown. So step one is a cookie cutter, word for word, script by script approach on how to approach people and pique interest that you would like to introduce ASEA to. Step two is how to use a third-party expert for credibility in order to close people. Step three is how to do an effective presentation and quick start training. The presentations that I have seen in the industry overall and in ASEA all could use some improvement in certain areas. Not to say every presentation is lacking, because obviously people are getting in the business. But a very effective presentation, a good way to measure a very effective presentation is a very effective presentation should be about 30 to 35 minutes long. And you should have at least 80% or more people sign up in your business. So about 30 to 35 minutes long, no longer, and about 80 to 85% of the people are in when you get done speaking. That's a benchmark for how to do an effective presentation. We'll talk more about that. Step 4, launching your business. When a new associate gets started, this is the most critical skill set that you'll ever need to learn in your network marketing career, is how to launch a new associate in their business. What to do, what to say in those first moments when they say, yes, I'm in. It is absolutely critical. What to do, what to say when they start. We're going to talk about that, but that is absolutely the most important skill set you could ever learn in your network marketing business. Step 5, weekly trainings, webinars, and calls. Step 6, how to use the corporate events. The ASEA corporate events are very moving. I know there's a lot of recognition, there's a lot of incredible stories, and a lot of really great information that's shared at these corporate events. So how do you use those? Those are a tool. Those are a tool for you to explode your business. I remember my first corporate event that I took people to. It was in Baltimore, Maryland. We actually just started our network marketing business, and we got, I think, 15 people flew from Los Angeles to Baltimore, Maryland for a corporate event, because that's the only place it was happening. From that 15 people at that corporate event, because we framed it properly and the information and the training was such, and how we handled that going into it and coming off of that, we turned those 15 people into 300 people within 30 to 45 days, I believe, after that corporate event. Corporate events are a critical tool for you building your business. And then step 7 is repeating the system. This system, this is the outline of the system, step by step by step. It is really critical to understand you need to learn the system, a system. If you're not going to use my system, use somebody's system. You have to have a system in place, though. The reason you have to have a system in place is because not only do you need the framework to build your business, but you need a system that can duplicate far beyond you, which means it's a playbook. This is a terrible example, but if you think of, let's say, restaurants that are fast food per se, like Subway or Chipotle or any of the franchises that have been sold over the years, they have a cookie cutter program. This is exactly how many ingredients you order. This is what you do with them. This is how you lay them out. This is how you store them. It is a step-by-step playbook on exactly how to duplicate the system. This is no different. You need a step-by-step system that is a playbook with scripts, psychology, everything that will show you exactly how to build your business so that other people in your team can follow it. Because your army of people needs to be saying the same thing all the time. It needs to be the same approach, the same peak interest scripts, the same thing. The experts need to be uniform. The presentations all need to be exactly the same. How you close people, how you handle objections, all of it needs to be cookie cutter and the same. And just to give you an example, if you look at my organization that I started in March of 1996, that organization is still growing today globally. I had a person in my old company call me up a couple years ago asking me to mentor him to the top position in the company. And I asked him why. And the reason he said is he had just come from one of my meetings. And in that meeting, he said it was amazing. He said the energy, the way people spoke and communicated and connected and introduced people, worked the room before the meeting, the introduction, the presentation, the close, the training, how we got people started, even the jokes in the presentation were exactly the same as I had created 18 years earlier. He said it was amazing to see that everything, every aspect of what I had created 18 years earlier was still being duplicated. Actually, I think it was 20 years. It was 18 years ago at the time he called me, 20 years ago now. But it was duplicated all those years later. People were doing exactly the same thing. Why do you need a system that duplicates? Because once you have something that works, that absolutely works, you don't deviate. You do it over and over and over, and you keep it super simple, and you just keep repeating it over and over and over again. So it doesn't matter when ASEA goes into 100, 150 countries, it's the same exact system done over and over and over and over again. I cannot stress that enough. Now, in being a leader, you must become an expert at being and teaching the following. All of these are skill sets that you must become an expert at. And I don't care if you're a diamond, a double diamond, a triple diamond, or if you're a D300, D700, bronze, gold, or platinum. I have seen people that are double diamonds and triple diamonds in various companies, including ASEA, that don't know how to do some of these things, which is a great testament to your company. Meaning they're not even yet at the expert level of doing some of these things, and they're hitting double and triple diamond just off the strength of the product, the company, and the comp plan. You can imagine the volume and the incomes that are going to be hit as everybody starts to apply these techniques. So for you, no matter what level you're at, you need to be an expert, piquing interest, raising curiosity. So you need to be an expert where you can recruit anyone, anytime, anywhere. And not only that, be able to teach every new associate on your team how to be so versed that they understand how people think, why they need to say what they need to say, how to say it, how to size up personalities, how to approach based on who that person is, okay? Very, very critical. Three-way calls, conference calls, how to deliver a very effective three-way call or a conference call. That is a matter of posture. It is a matter of energy and language on how to be effective. How to be an expert, what to say, what not to say when being an expert, and how to close people to the next step. Presentations, webinars, so critical. There is an actual formula that is broken down word for word, including transitional phrases, for ASEA on how to do an effective ASEA presentation. I know for a fact that people that have been using the presentation outline that I had shared with them, their numbers have gone way up. They are closing higher and higher and higher percentages. Some of the people are closing over 80% of the people now that they're presenting to, because the psychology of the presentation is working now. Where before, everybody that I had come across was just kind of putting out information in the way that they felt it was best without understanding the psychology behind why to say, what to say, when to say it. Quick start training is one of the most effective tools at closing people. If you have seen anyone in ASEA talk about apples, red apple, green apple, rotten apple, that is part of my training that is being used. That is a tool that does two things. It closes people into the business. After the presentation, people are usually yes or maybe. It closes people into the business better than anything. If you do a presentation without a quick start training, you're going to miss 20, 30, 40% of the room. That is a closing tool. And the other thing that a quick start training does is it prepares the new distributor for what to expect when they go out. Basic training should be happening every single week. Basic training should be happening every week consistently. You're teaching the same thing over and over and over again every week until people reach a certain level of production. Once they produce a certain number of personal recruits, they can move up into leadership trainings. Handling objections. When someone says, you know, I don't understand about redox, you know, how do we know it works? What do you say? When someone says, you know, oh, I've heard about this sometimes, you know, I've heard my cousin's brother's uncle's best friend's dog told me once, blah, 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 and I've heard that, and so, you know, this can't be true. whatever you're hearing in your business, as you're hearing it, you need to be an expert and teach your team on exactly how to handle that statement or that objection that's coming at you, because your mission in talking to new prospects is to educate them. You're not trying to get them in anything. You're trying to educate them on the ASEA business model, which includes the ASEA technology. Getting new distributors started, we talked about that. That's launching a new rep's business. That is the #1 most important training that you'll ever get in your network marketing career. How do you get a new distributor started? Most people let people get excited. They come in at the presentation and they say, okay, let's get started. And they say, okay, let's get together. Today is Sunday. Let's get together on Tuesday and we'll go over your list and we'll go over the first steps in getting started. Absolutely wrong. Most people that I've seen in network marketing don't even know how to get a new distributor started. The most important time to get a new distributor started is right at the moment they say, I'm in. The moment they enroll as an associate in ASEA is the most critical time of their entire career, because what you do in the next 24 hours after they say yes will determine the next 4 to 5 years of income for that person. It will determine the next 4 to 5 years of that person's team, growth or lack of, and it will determine their future in network marketing. The first 24 hours are the most critical. And if you don't have a step-by-step, word-for-word system on how to take every new associate and take them through this process in the first few moments after they sign up, and what to do over that first 24 hours, you are missing the mark of how to be successful in network marketing. I have traveled all over the world. I have taught top people all over the world in different countries and been translated into languages everywhere. And I'm telling you, even top producers making 6 figures a month weren't properly getting people started. And once we shifted that and they started the system of how to get new distributors started, it changed their entire trajectory of their business. Identifying personality types. You are able to get to a level where you could look at somebody and know exactly what personality type they are, know exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, based on their personality type to get them to listen to what you're saying. Again, all we're trying to do is to get people to listen. We're not trying to get them in, we're trying to get them to listen, which is hard in today's world. Duplicating the system. There's actually a system for duplicating the system. Most people don't know that. Most people don't even have a system. They're just running around excited, talking about ASEA and talking about the product and what it does, and the technology and redox, and they don't even have a system. There's not only the system on how to build your business, there is a system on how to duplicate it. So there is a step-by-step plan, blueprint for how to actually duplicate the system that's going to run your entire future and your entire business. Training the trainers. How you teach others is going to determine what duplicates out over the next 3, 5, 10, 15 years. What you do, what you say, how you teach them. The energy you have. How serious are you? How focused are you? What is the focus in those trainings? Everything you depart on your team needs to be on point every single minute. And this comes in your leadership trainings. Because everything you teach your trainers, your leaders, your up-and-coming leaders that will be training others, comes down to this. If you know exactly how to teach them such that they can learn and duplicate. Now, hear what I'm saying. You need to be able to teach them so that they can take in the information, but that they can also duplicate that information and duplicate the method of teaching. How do I have an organization that still is growing exponentially 20 years later? Because of the setup at the formation stage and the way that the information was taught, not just what the information was, how it was taught. It was taught in such a way that it was easy to teach others. So training the trainer. That's a whole nother level of leadership training that most people aren't even aware exists. It's what they don't know they don't know. Closing volume. Your number one focus in this business is to close volume. Closing volume. Increase the volume of enrollments and customers that are coming into your organization. Handling politics and problems. The moment you have anything negative happening in your organization, you have to know exactly what to do. There is a whole training on exactly what to do if someone starts becoming negative in your organization. I think ASEA's had some experience with this, where some people maybe got disgruntled about the industry or frustrated in their own life and started to say things that possibly weren't even true. The question is, what do you do when that happens? Because I lost two huge leaders, two huge teams, two huge organizations, because at the very beginning of my career, nobody had taught me how to handle politics or handle problems. Nobody had broken that down to me. I didn't know what to do. Someone was being negative. I said, get positive. Look at all the things you're grateful for. I didn't know. I didn't know the old saying, one rotten apple could spoil the whole bunch. And the negativity started at the bottom, and then it slowly worked its way up, and it took out entire teams of mine. Probably cost me $70,000 a month in income because I didn't know what to do. You need to know the signs when politics are starting in your group. You need to know the signs to be able to identify them before they start causing problems, and then how to handle it. Using psychology to move people. Again, every next level of your life will require a different you. Network marketing is 100% based on psychology and how to move people. What are we actually doing? We are building teams by inspiring others. We are inspiring others to inspire others to inspire others. We are inspiring others to build teams of other people who are inspiring other people. There is a psychology that you need to understand, which is how people think, how they're going to react, where they get stuck, what are based on someone's weaknesses, how to help them pass those weaknesses, how to be there and support them through their growth, because everybody has to go hit the wall and go through these growth phases. All of this is really, really important and critical. It's not just running around talking about a company or a great product technology. It's a psychology that you need to understand on how to move people and help them become the very best that they can be. Help them become the person they've always wanted to be through this program. And time management. As you apply these techniques and these strategies, one thing is for certain. You will not have the same time that you do, meaning you will have to manage. If you think managing 10 people is one thing, try managing 1,000 at the same time. Try managing 2,000, 5,000 people at the same time. So there are strategies on time management that as your business grows, if you know what to do and how to anticipate it, you will be able to keep moving and expanding exponentially and not get stuck in being taken advantage of by all the people who need you, okay? Now, the number one mistake made in network marketing that every single new distributor makes is you expect the new associate to build their own team. Now, I know this sounds radical. For those of you who maybe haven't heard this before, the number one mistake is you expect the new associate to build their own team. You're excited, you're going to the meetings, you're on the webinars, you're on the calls, you're going to the conventions. So of course, why wouldn't they? They got involved. Listen, just because someone is a customer doesn't mean they're going to build their team. Just because someone is an associate on AutoShip doesn't mean they're going to build their team. Just because they tell you how much they are grateful for this opportunity doesn't mean they're going to build their team. Just because they come to all the meetings, all the webinars, all the conference calls, and they're excited every single time, doesn't mean they're going to build their team. You cannot expect any of your associates to do anything, period. You have to approach this business as if your new associates will not be around working 30 days from now. Actually, you have to approach this business that your new associates won't be around 7 days from now. And I'm going to explain why in a minute. This is the number one mistake in network marketing, is expecting people to do what you do. It doesn't work that way. These are the statistics internationally of the different types of associates that you're going to have. You're going to have this cross-section of associates make up your team. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter how charismatic you are. It doesn't matter how excited you are. Your team will be made up of this cross-section, these percentages of team members. 97% of your team will be what we call an average associate. They're going to get some customers, a few, and they may possibly enroll someone. And that's it. If you look at network marketing is set up so that a tremendous number of people will all do a little bit of work. Well, the reason it's set up that way is because 97% of the people that come into network marketing, no matter how excited they are the day they sign up, will be an average associate. They're going to get a handful of customers and they're going to possibly enroll someone, and that's it. Somewhere between 2 and 2.5% are what we call recruiters. A recruiter is somebody that can sponsor or enroll other associates, frontline, direct to them effortlessly. It's effortless. They can talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, and get them excited about the business and sign them up in the business. We have some people who have enrolled. I know that I've worked with some people in ASEA that have enrolled over 100 people personally. That's a recruiter. If someone's enrolled 2 or 3 or 4 associates, that's not a recruiter. A recruiter is somebody that does 20, 30, 40, 50 associates like effortlessly. 2 to 2.5% of the people that come on your team are going to be recruiters. They're going to be able to just sponsor people into the business like effortlessly rather. Okay? Now, what is left is what we call a leader. Now, the leadership word's thrown around very effortlessly itself. From time to time, people talk about, I'm a leader, she's a leader, he's a leader. It's thrown around in network marketing too easily. People like to say, I'm a leader because I come to the meetings and I'm motivated, and I'm committed. Being committed doesn't make you a leader. No. If you're a leader, you absolutely have to be committed 24/7. But just because you're committed doesn't make you a leader. Just because you go to conventions doesn't make you a leader. Just because you go to the meetings or go on the webinars doesn't make you a leader. What makes you a leader is you're able to personally enroll people effortlessly in the business, and you're able to train and mentor others of all the skills necessary to become a leader and build a team themselves. That list of skills we talked about, what you must be an expert at in being and training, a leader is able to train and mentor others on those skills. A leader is able to find recruiters and train and mentor them on their way to becoming a leader. A leader is someone who is able to duplicate out and teach others on their team. Not just teach others, for the sake of teaching others. Actually effectively teach others to where that person that you're teaching becomes an expert at all of the skills necessary and doesn't just hold the knowledge of how to be an expert, but they're actually building a team. You know you're a leader when you can teach others how to build a team and they can build a team independently of you. That's when you know you're a leader. Until then, you're on your way. You're a leader in process. But less than 5% of people in any company typically, globally, are actual leaders. In fact, you'll have some people who will hit diamond, but they're not truly leaders. They actually sponsored, a handful of people and got pushed up in ranks based on volume, but they haven't really mastered how to effectively become an expert to build their teams and duplicate that out. So this is a very small percentage of people. Now, let me tell you something about leaders. You get one leader on your team, you're going to have a huge organization. You get two leaders on your team, you could be in a position to never have to work again. You get three leaders on your team, your life has changed forever in a way I can't even explain. You can experience true freedom. So leaders aren't running around every day, everywhere. You have to find leaders. There is a system and a method for finding leaders, which we're going to talk about, but leaders are found and then they're mentored and they're developed, but they already exist. So 97% of your team is going to come in and be average. What is your system right now knowing that? What are you doing every single day knowing that 97% of the people are only going to get a handful of customers and maybe enroll somebody? What's your game? What's your system? What's your strategy? Well, let me show you the actual facts of network marketing, and the strategy needs to be able to cope with this, okay? In network marketing internationally, the average associate sponsors 1 to 2 people. That's it. 1 to 2 people. That's all. And the average associate internationally gets only around 3 to 4 customers. Now that's average. That means 50% will do more, 50% will do less. If you know that 50% of the people that come into your team roughly, or 48% of the people that come into your team are only going to sponsor 1 to 2 people, what's your game plan? What are you going to do? How are you going to turn that into hundreds of thousands of people if the average person only sponsors 1 to 2? If the average associate gets only 3 to 4 customers and we earn money based on the volume of customers, what's your strategy? Now, I know in ASEA, you have an incredible product that does not exist anywhere else on the planet. I know the technology is one of the most exciting technologies ever to hit health services and the well-being or the wellness industry, ever. I know that. And maybe because of that, some of you have gotten really excited about the product, I'm imagining. I know in talking with Dan Doyle and other people who have had a personal story about the impact of the product on saving their health, I know how critical it is that people understand the value of this product. So because of this incredible technology, I know a lot of people in ASEA have gotten really excited, and they've been focusing on getting customers. And so for some of you, you've seen people get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 customers. That's great. That's very exciting. But it doesn't change the fact that you still have to build a distribution channel. Because the average associate, as you continue in your career, is going to get 3 to 4 customers. So let's look at what that means to you. If you're starting brand new as an ASEA associate from day one, okay, and your new associate gets a regular package, I think it's $130 plus tax, you get a fast start bonus because of that customer acquisition for $20. If it's a preferred customer, you can get income in perpetuity on a preferred customer. But I'm talking about an associate coming in. We are building a distribution channel. We are building a team of associates who go out and build teams of associates who go out and build teams of associates. So as a new associate in ASEA, your fast start bonus for that customer acquisition of that auto ship is $20. Now, as you work your way up through the compensation plan, as you go D300, D700, you go bronze, gold, platinum, all the way to diamond and beyond, your ability to earn additional income for the same effort opens up and increases. Hitting these positions only means that you are able to get paid more for the same volume, get paid more for the same work. It doesn't mean it's game over. It just means the door has opened up. So maybe one associate could be worth $40 to you. Every associate on your team could be worth $50 to you. At Diamond, you're getting 10% of the weak side volume. You're getting check matches. You're getting bonuses and bonus pools. You're getting all kinds of great stuff where you can make a lot more money. But I want you to start focusing on this. Every single associate is worth a certain amount of money to you, period. I want you to look at this as a business. As a business, every associate is going to be worth somewhere between $20 and higher, depending on your rank position and your volume. So if we understand that, we can now start to focus on building our business like a business. Our goal is volume, production, enrollments. That's our goal. Our goal is not, hitting some pin position. Our goal is volume, enrollments, production, period. With volume, enrollment, and production, your income goes up. Why do you want your income to go up besides your own personal desires? Besides your need to feel like you've achieved something, besides the need to pay the car payment or the mortgage payment or whatever it is, you need your income to go up because you need to be the success story. You need to be a walking, talking, breathing success story. Not for you, for everybody that's going to come after you. Because the first question everybody's going to ask is, what have you done? What has happened to you? And it's great if you could say, I've been on the product 6 months, 7 months, this is what's happened to my health. Incredible. Absolutely. But when it comes to building the business, you must have a success story. You must have a track record that you could point to that says, this is where I was, this is where I am now, this is what's happened. You've always heard these sayings, facts tell, stories sell. People want to know your story, and you don't want to be left holding a story only about the incredible product. You need to have a success story in the business side of things, and I'm going to show you why. So I want you to look at this as a business, and as a business, you're looking at the amount of effort you put out versus your return, right? The amount of effort you put out versus your return. And don't get me wrong, many of you are like me. My intention and my mission in the world is to help change lives. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here in this lifetime, is to help change lives. That's why many of you are doing ASEA, is to help other people change their lives. That is incredible. But in order to do that, we have to be efficient. We have to be effective. If you're going to take this out globally, if you're going to change the world, you need to run this systematically like a business in order to be effective. So I want you to start looking at your business. Each associate, depending on your position, is going to be worth a certain amount of money minimum, and it's going to work its way up from there. A new associate is worth $20 fast start bonus on that customer acquisition. Once those customers are acquired, a $20 bonus is released to you. So at a minimum, one associate's worth $20. What you do from there can only go up. Now, the problem is, in companies I've seen all over the world, is they have a lot of leaders who are reaching these pin positions. They're reaching ranks. They're hitting D300, D700, bronze, gold, platinum. Oh my gosh, diamond, beautiful trophy, lots of recognition, maybe some roses, fantastic. So they're hitting these ranks, but these people are not making the serious money because they don't have momentum. Meaning they got enough volume to hit that position and get the recognition. But momentum, which we're going to talk about, means that when you hit that position, it just explodes and keeps going exponentially. So in companies all over the world, you have a lot of people who have fancy pictures and fancy trophies, but they're not having the lifestyle or the growth that they want to have because they either have never learned how to create momentum or they lost it. In my conversation with Nancy Thurnell on Thursday night on the other training discussion that we were talking about, she was talking at the very beginning, the kind of momentum ASEA had was incredible. I mean, the first week she was putting in 47 apps, then 100 apps, then 129, then 190. It was exponential growth. It was massive momentum. We're going to talk about how to create that, advance it, and sustain it. Now, your daily challenge, every day you're in business in ASEA, every day you're in business in network marketing, your daily challenge is this. These are the questions that you need to live by. These are the questions you need to have solutions for, and you need to have answers for every single minute of every single day. You need to breathe, eat, sleep, every moment these questions. 1, how many new associates are coming into your open team every day? Your open team means in your team, not underneath a person who's at the same position as you. So if you're gold and you have another person on your team who's gold, your open team means everything that's not under them. So it's all the production, all the volume that's not underneath a person at the same position as you on your team. So how many new associates are coming into your open team every day? When I was doing my leadership with my team, and what I teach top producers all over the world is every single time they have a conversation with a team member. It doesn't matter if it's midnight, 3 in the morning, 7 in the morning, doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Every conversation with your team member starts out like this. Hi, how you doing? Question, how many new associates are coming into your open team today? And where are they coming from? Every single point of focus needs to be on how many new associates are coming into your open team every day. Next question, how many new D300s, D700s, bronze are you breaking every week? This is for you. This is my question to you who's watching this training. How many new D300s, D700s, and how many new bronze are you breaking every single week? Because if you're not breaking new D300s, D700s, and bronze every single week, then something isn't working properly. You should be breaking D300s, D700s, and bronze every single week in your business. Someone new should be hitting these pen positions. So my question to you is, how many new D300s, 700s, and bronze are you personally breaking every week? Another question. How much is each associate's volume on your team increasing every week? Again, each associate on your team, every single one of them, how much in volume are they increasing every single week? Do you know that answer? Are you aware of where their volume is, where it was at the beginning of the week and where it is at the end of the week? You need to inspect what you expect of your team. You need to be aware of who's moving, who's not. If they're moving, why are they moving? If they're increasing volume, why are they increasing volume? What are their activities? You need to monitor and inspect what you expect. If they're not moving, if their volume is stagnant, why? What are they doing? What are they saying? Because something's wrong. If their volume's not going up every week, something's not working. You need to know where their volume is, what are they saying, how are they saying it, when are they saying it, so that you can monitor it and make whatever adjustments you need with their approach, with their presentations, with how they're running their system, so that their volume could increase every single week. If it is working, you want to listen to hear how you could improve it. Next question. How much is each associate's income increasing every week? Their income. Let me tell you something. Whether you know it or not, you guys have a tremendous product. The technology is like nothing I've ever seen. And we all know what that means to how many lives it's going to impact. The difference it's making in people's lives is incredible. You will have customers who will stay loyal to ASEA forever because this product has literally changed the health of the person or their family one or loved ones or a friend. For sure. No question. Which is probably one of the highest amounts of retention in the industry based on the incredible product. My question is, for people who are wanting to build the business, for people who are wanting to expand internationally, to build a distribution channel, loyalty to the product alone isn't going to keep them in the game. It may keep them around buying the product, but it won't keep them in the game for building a business. What keeps them in the game is the income. Yes, the sense of family that ASEA has created is incredible. People will stick around for the sense of family. People will stick around because they feel good. There's like-minded people. ASEA people are some of the most incredible people I've ever met. And I've been in the industry a long time, over 20 years. Incredible people. They'll stick around for that. But you don't want a business where everyone's just sticking around because they love each other and they love the product. You want a business that is exploding internationally at rates that you can't even fathom, at rates that you just lose control and you have no idea where it's going because it's getting so big so fast. It's a snowball that's out of control in a good way. That's the kind of business you want. The determining factor on if you're going to keep people in that game, the game of building a business that goes international, the game of a distribution channel, is their income. Because I don't care how great the product is, I don't care how much everyone loves everybody, they're not going to keep working and building the business the way that they need to in order to be successful if they're not making money. So one of your focuses has to be, how much is your income increasing every single week? And if it's not going up every week, what are you doing? Why is it not going up every week? And then how much is each associate on your team income increasing? Because if their income's not going up every week, there's a situation that you need to deal with. You need to go in, find out why is it not going up every week? Where are they stuck? What are they saying? Who are they talking to? Where is the breakdown in the system? And because most people don't even have a system that they're following, they can't possibly know where the breakdown is because it's just everyone running around excited talking about how incredible everything is. If there's no system, you can't find where the pieces are that might be a breakdown or missing. So these are very important questions that you need to be thinking of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you need to be on it with every single member of your team. So I want to talk to you, the people that want to build something tremendous, the people that want to build a global business, not by accident, but on purpose, intentionally, and efficiently. If you want to come in and you want to make an extra $1,000 a month, what I'm going to share with you, you can do it effortlessly. I'm sorry, you're going to have to make an effort easily. Simple. If you want to make $5,000 a month, it'll work for you. If you want to make $10,000 a month, it'll work for you. I want to talk to the people that want to do something huge. I don't know if I'm going to be giving this information again. I've had a 20-year career on all sides of network marketing. I've helped start companies from every aspect of creating a company, from writing comp plans, picking software, personnel, you name it, doing all the branding, every bit of it. I've done consulting at the highest levels to the biggest companies in the industry. I've been a top distributor, a top trainer in the industry. I've done all of it. I am currently working on a project that is taking my life in a different direction. I have this knowledge that I've accumulated over the last 20 years with these tremendous track records of results from the system. I want to give it to people and have people use it who are going to do something good with it. Not just good, actually great. I want to give what I've learned, all the things that I went through, all the experiences, all the failures, all the things that, all the late nights at 2, 3 in the morning and 2 hours sleep and 3 hours sleep to be able to have the success that I had and do what I've done. I want to pass that on to people who are going to do something incredible with it. And the reason I've been so focused on helping top people in ASEA is because I believe ASEA can change the world. And I believe that what I know can actually help you change the world. And I may not be teaching this anymore after this. I think this might be it. And, you know, if everything goes well with my new project, this will be it. So I would like to pass on this information to the people that have the right integrity, the right heart, the right intention, and the right determination to take this thing out globally and really impact people's lives. When I was in network marketing as a distributor, we weren't impacting people's lives because of the product. We were saving people money on their telecom bills. $30 on their long distance, $14 on their internet, maybe on your mobile phone, we could save you 20%, 10%. Nothing too exciting. What was exciting is we were changing people's lives in the personal growth that they experienced and their incomes and their freedom. You can do even far greater than that. You can change people's lives, not just in their personal growth, not just in their income and their time freedom. You can change people's lives in their health in addition. For me, all the hours I've given to try to contribute to ASEA leaders, it is worth it. It has been worth it to me because I believe you can change the world. So I want to pass this on to you so that you can use it. I'm talking to the people, not everybody. Not everyone's going to take what I share with you here right now and apply it, but the few that are, you can change your entire future and you can change the world. And if I can contribute to that, I am extremely excited and beyond grateful because it is part of my life's mission. So you'll be helping me fulfill my ideal life by doing that, by helping you do that. So if you want to play big, if you want to do something global, you want to make a mark and change the world, there are 2 key shifts that you need to make. And I don't care if you're triple diamond, I don't care if you're double diamond, I don't care if you're diamond, I don't care what rank you're at. To go to the next level, every next level of your life will require a different you. And if you are diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, you already know this to be true. In order to go to the next level, you have to shift to a new you. There are 2 key areas that you must shift to. One is in your mindset, the other is in your strategy. Mindset, strategy, okay? So let's talk about this. The shifts you need to make in your mindset. You must have a shift in your belief. What does that mean? Everyone's like, no, I believe in ASEA. I believe I can be successful. I believe the product works. I believe the owners are great. I believe the compensation plan is great. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You must have an expansion in what you believe is possible for you. Right now, no matter what level of volume or income or position you're at, your level of belief of what's possible is what you see in your reality, okay? It looks like this, and your reality fills this hole. This is it. In order to go to the next level, you have to expand your beliefs of what you feel are possible for you and how it's possible beyond where you're at now. Every single person must expand their beliefs of what they believe is truly possible. And when I say believe, I'm talking what they know, not what they hope. If you look up the definition of belief, it talks about being a matter of fact. You have to expand what you know is possible within ASEA and for you personally in your life and your team. The number one thing that's going to determine the level of success you and your team have is your belief. That is the number one thing. It is the number one thing you must work on. A good friend of mine for many years, Kelly Knievel, his father, Evel Knievel. If you look at the top 5 sporting events of all time, now this was some years ago, Kelly and I had this conversation. I don't know if it's still the case, but for many, many years, if you looked at the top 5 sporting events of all time, Evel Knievel was 3 of the top 5 sporting events paid advertising dollars, which meant more money was made in advertising for Evel Knievel events than other events. I think one of the other 5 events was Ali Frazier in Africa fight, which is one of the biggest televised events in the world. I was talking with Kelly one day, and he said something really profound. His father taught him something that always stuck with him, and then when Kelly shared it with me, it stuck with me. His father said to him, some people make $5 an hour, some people make $50 an hour, some people make $500 an hour, some make $5,000 an hour, some people make $50,000 an hour. He said the only difference between somebody who makes $5 an hour versus the person who makes $50,000 an hour. The person who makes $5 an hour typically will spend 95% of their time working and 5% working on their mind or thinking. The person who makes $50,000 an hour will spend 95% of their time thinking or working on their mind and 5% working. In order to go to the next level of your life, no matter what level you're at, there always requires a shift to a new you. The main shift for your mindset is your belief about what you believe is possible. I want you to start shifting your focus. For those of you who are serious about really building something on a global scale, shift your focus. I want you to start looking for team builders. I want you to start looking for people who can put in 25 or more associates on their team in the first 30 days. Now, some of you are going, that's not possible. Nobody starts at the beginning and puts in 25 people in a month. Oh, yes, they do. And you know what's interesting? I teach you look for people who could put in 100 people or more in their first 30 days. But I don't want to, have anybody get a little bit too freaked out because they don't think it's possible. So I cut the number down to 25. My team was doing that consistently every single week. We had people come in using the system that were putting in at least 25 people on their team. It doesn't mean they have to sponsor 25 personally. It just means on their team, they're putting in at least 25 people. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activator. It's, in the back part of your brain. It's the part of your brain that filters all information coming in through your senses and then disseminates that information to different parts of the brain. Your reticular activator, and you could look it up online, do a search, your reticular activator is programmed to find evidence of what you believe to be true. Let me repeat that. The reticular activating system in your brain is a part of your brain that filters the information that reaches the different hemispheres of your brain. It affects all of our actions or our output. The reticular activating system in your brain is programmed to find evidence of that which you believe to be true. If you're looking and believing the possibility that sponsoring 2 new associates a month is good, or getting 3 new customers is good, you will find evidence of 2 associates or 2 or 3 customers. If you program your belief that it is possible to find 25 new associates in a month per associate, when a brand new associate starts, that doesn't matter who that associate is, you could find 25 people out of them. They're an open doorway, and that one person will lead you to 25 new people or more in a single 30-day period from the day they start, if you believe that's possible, you will start finding that to be true. You will start seeing that show up in your reality. So I want those who are serious to start shifting your focus. You're looking for distributors or associates that can put in at least 25 people or more in their business in the first 30 days. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how simple it is to put 25 people in. But I want you to start shifting your focus and your mindset. Now, for those of you who would like some access of this, on how to think this way and how to shift these beliefs, I obviously have a whole library that some of your top people have had access to previously. One of the programs that I have in there is called The Mindset of a Top Producer. And this is where I'm sharing how I developed my mindset and expanded my belief system to be able to do what I've done. And also I was interviewing other top producers on how they think and their mindset and how they believed and how they controlled their thoughts and how they controlled their feelings on a daily basis. Basically, what was in their mind and how did they expand their belief system daily and kept it strong daily in order to achieve incredible things in the industry. So for those of you who might be interested in these kind of mindset shifts, this is one tool that could be beneficial. Let me tell you how important mindset is. This is one of my clients. I believe he called me in early 2015. No, it was the end of 2015 in November. He called me the second week of November. He said, look, I need help. I'm a six-figure earner in this company. He's out in Australia. He goes, my business has kind of hit a ceiling. I don't know what to do. I feel like no matter what I do, I can't get past this certain income level. I said, the first thing we need to do is you need to have a shift in your mindset. He said, okay, just, I'm open. Let me know how that goes. Justin was great. He's like, how do I do that? I took him through a step-by-step process. One of the things I did share with him was that video I just shared with you, along with some other pieces. And he had a shift. Now, this was the second week of November that I started working with him. The first conversation I had with him, he was trying to convince me that nobody works in December. He was trying to tell me that December's for the holidays. And he was trying to tell me all the reasons why nobody works in December. And after I got done talking with him, basically showing him that he was inaccurate, then he switched it to, Jeff, you're in America, I'm in Australia. It's different down here. And I said, no, it's not different down there. It's only different between your ears. Australia is no different than any other country. He goes, no. Aussies take, the holidays a lot more seriously. Nobody works. I said, Justin, you're either going to trust me or you're not. He said, okay. We went through the mindset shift process. The second week of November, we started. The third week of working with me, he posted on my business page on Facebook. I took that post and turned it into this slide, but it is a post that you could see on my business page that out of the blue he posted. He said, I have to say, Jeff, you're an incredible mentor. This is going to be the third week working with you. Within the first week, I experienced a huge shift within myself and my beliefs, just like you promised. My beliefs. That same week, my production doubled and we had our biggest week ever in our history at a time when I thought it would slow due to Christmas. During the month of December, my income was nearly double my largest month of income ever. He was a six-figure earner that doubled his income in less than 4 weeks over the holidays. How is that possible? Because he shifted his belief system. I helped him walk through a process to shift his belief system. He shifted it. He got focused over the course of December. He doubled his income and never looked back. That is how powerful a shift in mindset and focus can be in your life. Everything can change just like that. And it doesn't matter that we're going into the holidays. You want to have the biggest month ever, you can do it starting right now. Through the end of November, December, You could have the biggest month you've ever seen in your entire business. I don't care what level you're at, by a shift in mindset and a shift in strategy. So Justin's just one case. So now that we talk a little bit about mindset, let's talk about strategy, okay? Network marketing, it seems simple. Go get some customers, go talk to people. You know, if they like the product, they're gonna become a associate and build the business. It's not that simple. Again, the average person sponsors 1 to 2 people. The average person gets 3 to 4 customers. You need to have a strategy on how you're going to build a distribution channel, knowing that 97% of your people are going to do the average and be an average associate. So your strategy needs to shift, okay? You need to work a step-by-step system that does several things. Number 1, it must create immediate momentum for each new associate. We're going to talk about momentum, but it must create immediate momentum for each new associate. Immediate. Immediate means now. You must create momentum in the first 24 to 48 hours of every new associate's life in the business. The moment they enroll as an associate and a SIA, you have 24 to 48 hours max to create momentum for them. So you need to have a system in place that it doesn't matter how many associates you have coming in. If you have 1,000 people coming in that single week or that single day, those 1,000 people have a system that's step by step that can create momentum in the next 24 to 48 hours. You need to have a system that creates introductions to the most influential people. You need to have this system. So again, no matter how many new associates come in on that day, no matter what country, no matter what language they come in, there is a step-by-step, cookie-cutter, word-for-word system and scripts on how you can get to their most influential people, because that's going to make all the difference of their level of success in the business or not. Number 3, you have to have this system to identify leaders faster. Some of you have people coming into your business that could be leaders, but you don't even see them. You're so busy helping others. You're so busy answering questions that customer service should be answering. You're so busy taking time on the phone with people that you shouldn't be focused on because they're wasting your time. The only conversations you should be having with people are to close people into the business. No other conversations. If it's not to close someone into the business, it needs to be happening in a leadership meeting. You're either training or closing, period. End of story. You're not listening to drama. You're not listening to stories. You're either training or closing. Those are your only 2 functions. Some of you have people who could be huge leaders that have come in the first week and you didn't even know what you had because you didn't know the questions to ask them. You didn't know what to say to them to get them on the right course, and they slipped through your fingers and went out of your business. I'm talking 10, 20, 30, 40,000 a month that you've missed per person because you let a potential leader slide through your fingers and you didn't even know it. You need to know how to identify leaders, what you're looking for, and your team needs to be taught that so that the moment everybody sees that a person meets those characteristics, everybody jumps on them. And you start pulling them aside and having a separate conversation and a separate protocol with people that you think could be leaders. Number 4, a step-by-step system that helps you duplicate these independent leaders faster. You should be taking a person from application to independent, not everybody, but if you have a recruiter or a potential leader, again, not everybody, 97% of your associates are going to be average and do average. That's it. That's a fact. But the ones who are recruiters or potential leaders, you should be able to duplicate them out where they can be independent of you within 30 to 60 days. It's not that you're going to stop working with them after 30 to 60 days, but they should have all the skills necessary to be independent of you and run their own business within 30 to 60 days. Some of you are holding on to your team because it makes you feel important, or you like being edified, or you like being the person who's in control, whatever. You don't want to be doing that. You want to get people independent of you as quickly as possible. one of the owners of my company as a distributor said to me one time before I had my big shift on this, I had this thing where I was a perfectionist, so I wanted to control everything to make sure everything was perfect. And I know some of you have that same thing. He came up to me one day and he said, listen, can I share something with you? And I said, yeah. He said, you need to be very unimportant as fast as possible. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you need to become very unimportant as fast as possible. He goes, think about it. I thought about it for a couple days, and then I called him up and I was like, what you're telling me is that I'm too important because I'm doing everything. He goes, that's right. You're creating dependence on you. He goes, you want to create independence. And I said, well, I mean, when I do the presentation, pretty much everybody's in. I mean, if you just put them in front of me, I can close everybody. I mean, I can move people to action better than most people. I mean, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And I was like, hey, I can do it. He's like, that's not the point. He goes, you want a whole army of people that are average at presentations. You want a whole army of people that are average at trainings, that are average at closing people. But because you have an army of people that are average, you're closing so many people into your business is growing exponentially. They may never be as good as you. But if you can get them independent of you, you can always work with them to increase their skill level. That's when the light bulb went off and I was like, oh my gosh, I had been creating an entire team of dependent potential leaders. Everybody was just putting people in front of me. Everyone was putting people on the phone with me. And it was great. I was working 20 hours a day, barely sleeping, and I can close everybody. But that wasn't going to get me geometric growth. It's learning how to duplicate independent leaders in 30 to 60 days to where they're independent of you and they don't need you. That is the game. What to do with those recruiters and those leaders. There is a system, which I'm going to share parts of it tonight, on how to do that. Now, momentum, some of you have heard me talk about this. There's 3 stages of momentum. When you sponsor a new associate, you create momentum. That is a creation of momentum. You sponsor someone new, or your associate, one of your team members, sponsors a new associate. Now, momentum is not created by getting a customer. I've got a news flash for you. It doesn't create momentum when you get a customer. That is an illusion. That is not fact. Momentum is only created when you, as a business builder, enroll another person as a business builder or a new associate. That is creating momentum. When you enroll a new associate and then you help that new associate enroll someone additional, so your new person's enrolling someone new, that is maintaining your momentum. For your new distributor or your new associate, they sponsor someone new, they created momentum. Because you help them do that, you maintain the momentum. Advancing momentum is where you have a team of associates that are all sponsoring people who sponsor people who sponsor people who sponsor people in the business. Not just as customers, but in the business. That is momentum. You need to always be in what we call phase 1 activity. Phase 1 activity is where you are consistently creating new momentum. You are consistently sponsoring new people. Your team's going to do what you do. If you sponsor a new person as an associate, you created momentum. Your team will do what you do. If you sit back and you're just managing everybody, answering all their questions, your team is going to sit back and manage everyone and answer all their questions. If you sit back and do the presentations and that's all you do and you're never starting new teams and never starting new legs and never creating new momentum, your team is going to go into management mode and sit back and your leaders are just going to do presentations. You have to lead by example. The momentum that gets created is based on what you do, not what your team does. So you need to constantly create, maintain, and advance your momentum. Now, what is it that determines momentum? What makes it happen, and how do we know we have it? Okay? In order to make it happen, what determines if momentum happens in your business, and let me tell you this, you will never reach the goals that you want to have unless you learn to create momentum. You must learn to create it, maintain it, and advance it in order to hit your goals, period. And if you're playing big, if you want to go global, you have to become an expert at creating, maintaining, and advancing momentum and teaching others on how to create, maintain, and advance. That's the only way to go global, okay? So you must become an expert. Your sense of urgency is going to determine if you have momentum. Every conversation you have with a team member, every conversation you have with a prospect, every presentation, every three-way call, every webinar, every conference call, you must have a sense of urgency. You must have a sense of urgency that you only have this moment right now, and almost to the point that the world is going to end. And here's a great example. This is a great example. What if I told you that ASEA is going to make a new rule? Now, this isn't true, but this is just a hypothetical, just so you can understand urgency. What if there was a game that got played and ASEA said, okay, we're going to make a new rule. You have 1 week to build as many people on your team as possible. And at the end of next Sunday, as an example, at the end of next Sunday, we're going to take every single person that you built on your team in the next 7 days, and we're going to pay you $10,000 per person. My question for you is, if you knew that you only had 1 week, and for every new person on your team, you would get $10,000, every single one of them. My question is, what would change in your sense of urgency? I believe that every single one of you would become more urgent. Now let me ask you a question. What if every single person on your team was worth $100,000 a year to you? What if ASEA said to you, for every person on your team that you put in between now and Wednesday, you're going to get paid $100,000 per year? How many people could you put in on your team? 100,000 per year between now and Wednesday. What would happen with your mindset? What would happen with your sense of urgency? What would happen inside of you? Would you be more urgent? Now, let's make it even more interesting. You get, let's say, as an example, you get paid $100,000 for every person on your team that comes in between now and Wednesday, every year. But you're no longer able to build any new people on your team after Wednesday. That's it. They shut the door. You can never build your income past what you do between now and Wednesday. That, my friends, is urgency. When you look at every single minute, every single day of your business like that, like you only have 1 day to build as many people on your team as possible because it's going to end. You only have 24 hours to get as many people on your team as possible. When you approach the business like that, you have created urgency. And when you are in urgency, your team will be in urgency. People will feel it. Every conversation will have urgency. Every conversation will have excitement. Every conversation will move people to action because they're going to feel your sense of urgency. They won't even know what you're saying. They won't understand anything about Redux. They won't understand anything about what you're saying, about the comp plan or anything else. They're just going to feel you and your team's urgency. And if you've learned anything, you probably already know that we as human beings communicate by feeling, by vibration. It's not necessarily the words that we say, it's how we say them. They're going to feel your energy. They're going to feel your sense of urgency. You want to create momentum? You must become someone who is urgent 24 hours a day. You must build your business as if you only have 24 hours to do it. I call it the 24-hour rule. Everything must happen now. You build everything, every phone call, every conversation, every presentation, every training is as if at the end of the next 24 hours, you're cut off and you can never build another rep in ASEA. And whatever income you finish with is what you're get stuck with. That is how you create urgency. Now, momentum is a noun. It means the quantity of motion of a moving body measured as a product of its mass and velocity. Part 2, the force or speed of movement. Momentum, look at the key words I have bold. Moving body, velocity, force, speed, movement. Momentum means something is moving. It is moving and it's moving fast. It is moving with velocity. It is moving with force. It is moving forward with speed. That needs to be you every single moment, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You must be the momentum that you are leading by example with. You must be the energy of momentum. You must be the energy of urgency. In order to create momentum, you must be in momentum. You must be feeling it. You must be thinking it. You must be speaking it. You must be taking action on it. You have to be sponsoring. You have to be closing. You have to be presenting. You have to be training in momentum, in urgency. Every single conversation. Always on, never not on, always on, in momentum. In your dreams, you're in momentum. You know you're in momentum when you're dreaming of closing people. Then you're in momentum. This is absolutely mission critical. You must become the very person that you want to attract. You want to attract momentum on your team, you must be in momentum. It's not casual. It's not casual. If you're in it to make a couple $100 a month, sure, be casual. If you want to change the world, if you want to change your financial destiny, if you want to change the future of humanity with what you have to offer, you cannot be casual. You must be in momentum all the time. Every minute, every thought, every feeling, every action, every conversation, presentation, training, every time you get someone started, every time you talk to a team member must be in momentum. That must be who you are being. That must be your energy. That determines if you're going to be in momentum in your team. Now, again, we said momentum is creating by sponsoring a new associate, maintaining by helping them sponsor somebody, and advancing by helping your team continue to sponsor and maintain. So you need to work what I call the 24-hour rule. Every associate must enroll a new associate within 24 hours, period. Period. If you're coming into my team as a new associate, you don't know anything else other than we've got 24 hours to get at least one new associate on your team. You're not hearing about redox. You're not hearing about, molecules. You're not hearing about, the latest science journals, or this doctor said that, or that doctor said. You are hearing about, we need to sponsor someone in 24 hours. Who do you know? Every associate, it doesn't matter if you have 200, 300, 500 come in a given month, every associate must enroll a new associate within 24 hours. Now, what happens if you enroll a new associate within 24 hours? Several things. Number one, that new associate is most likely going to get on auto ship. You just got a new customer, congratulations. Number two, that person who you sponsor, your team member who just enrolled that new associate, just found out the most important thing they're ever going to learn in ASEA. It works. The business works. The moment they're able to enroll another person on their team, their brain kicks off and says, oh my gosh, it works. It's true. Because I don't care how great you are at presenting or closing people. Until a new associate has success in enrolling another new associate, they have a question in the back of their mind. Will it work for me? When you're building the business, every single prospect that you come across has 3 basic questions going on in their mind all the time. Is it simple? Does it work? Can I do it? Again, is it simple? Does it work? And can I do it? Every conversation you have, you must answer those questions. Is it simple? Does it work? Can I do it? Every word out of your mouth must answer those questions. Every presentation, every time you answer a question, every time you do a training, every time you get a new associate started, every time you talk to your team. Because guess what? Your team is consistently, unconsciously asking themselves, is it simple? Does it work? Can I do it? The only way to answer that question, especially for a new associate, is to help them sponsor a new associate. Let me tell you what happens in the first 24 hours. Someone's excited, they see you, and they're very, very excited. And what do? They go talk to a family member or a friend. And what happens when they talk to a family member or a friend? The person starts giving their opinion. And because most people don't know how to prepare a new associate to be ready for that, which is why I have the red apple, green apple, rotten apple training so many of you have seen, that is to mentally prepare people so that when they have a rotten apple who is negative, they laugh it off and they don't take it so seriously. That's all psychology in that training. Understand this, the first 24 hours, they don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it. They're gonna screw up everything. They're gonna say everything wrong. They're gonna give way too much information. They're new, they don't know. They don't understand anything. They're just excited and they're just gonna go and throw up information all over somebody. And when they do, the person's gonna be like, what are you talking about? And they're gonna come at them and start asking questions that they're not prepared to answer. They're gonna come at them and start, asking questions or making comments that they're not prepared to receive. And what happens? People have egos. They don't wanna be made to look a fool. They don't want their friends to judge them or their family to judge them. They wanna be loved and accepted. They wanna be liked because they're egos. So as soon as they start getting negative, they shut down, they stop attacking, they stop building, and they slowly disappear, or they start making excuses, or they tell you they're calling people on their list and they're not. This is the majority of people, and it only takes 24 hours for this to start happening. As soon as they start talking to people, it's gonna start happening. So you've got 24 hours to show them success, because you know what? If you can help them sponsor a new associate in that first 24 hours, it's gonna be a lot less impactful when someone says it doesn't work. Oh, that'll never work. Oh, yes, it will. I just sponsored someone on my team. I just got my first income. Oh, that thing will never last. Yes, it will. Oh, that won't work for you. Yes, it will. You need to show them success. No one cares about your success story at the point that they join the business. So the moment they say they're in, your success story no longer matters. Now it's about their success story, because their friends don't know you, so they don't care how successful you are. They want to ask their friend, does it work for you? You have to be able to get them in a position to say yes. You have to be able to build their belief. You have 24 hours. 24. Most people make the mistake. Do a presentation at Sunday. I'm excited. Great. Fantastic. Tell you what, let's get together on Wednesday. We'll go over everything. We'll get you started. No. You should have 10 people in their business by Wednesday. You need to work on a 24-hour rule. Every new associate, no matter where they are in your organization, needs to be able to sponsor a new associate within 24 hours, period. This is the most important key to momentum I could ever teach you. And if you don't have a system in place right now that is cookie cutter, word for word, on how to do this, you need to get one, because this is it, the 24-hour rule. Momentum then continues, but it does not continue with you assuming your new associate will advance your momentum or maintain it. Remember, the number one mistake made in network marketing is thinking that your new associate is going to build their own business. 97% of them are only going to sponsor 1 or 2 people and get a few customers, and then they're done. Literally. So you need to be the one to work with every new associate. You have to come down and work with that new associate that you sponsored to help them sponsor somebody, and you go down and you work with that person to help them sponsor someone, and then you go down and help them, all within 24 hours. It doesn't matter how many new people come in on your team. You must help every new associate sponsor a new associate within 24 hours. This is how you create momentum. This is how you create massive momentum. You cannot rely on your team to do it. You must do it, which means you need to know all the tools, exactly what to say, when to say, how to do all those different skills, because you can't rely on your team. I'm going to show you when you get to stop. It's when you find a recruiter, and we're going to talk about that, but not until then. You are the momentum. You must work with every new associate, no matter where they are, unless there's a leader that is independent of you, then they could work with their team. If there's not someone independent of you and people are coming in your organization, I don't care how many people, you must get them a new associate within 24 hours. Can it be done? Absolutely. You do this, you'll change your financial future forever. This is it. This is the key right here to creating momentum. Now, my question for you on the 24-hour rule, each of you, no matter what position you're in, my question for you, and I want you to be honest about this, are you closing a new associate for each and every associate that comes into your business within 24 hours? In your current business, are you closing a new associate for every new associate within 24 hours? You have a new associate come in. Are they sponsoring a new associate within 24 hours? Be honest. Because if this is not happening, chances are you're not even close to momentum. And I know there's a lot of leaders that have these great businesses with a lot of volume, but it's not growing the way you want. And the reason it's not growing the way you want is because you lost momentum. If you ever had it, you lost it. And once you lose momentum, it's almost impossible to get back, because it typically starts to go like this. So the question is, are you closing someone new for every new associate? Are they closing a new associate within 24 hours? If the answer is no, you're not in the kind of momentum that you can be. Again, in order to do this, in order to drive your organization down and keep momentum going, create it, maintain it, advance it until you find your leaders, you must become an expert at not only being this person, but you need to be the person who can teach it. And all of these skill sets, every single piece to the system, every single piece to the system, you must be the expert so that you can drive your organization every 24 hours, helping a new associate sponsor a new associate. And then when you find and identify, which we'll talk about, the right people, you know how to teach it the proper way, which will set up a foundation that can duplicate out 20 years from now for you. Okay? This is really critical. Again, if you don't have these skills, how are you going to drive your organization? And how are you going to teach people to be independent of you if you haven't mastered these? If you don't even have this skill set listed, if you're not even aware that you needed these skills because there's no system in place that require these skills, then if you don't have a system, then how are you going to do anything? How are you going to build anything that's going to last beyond you? You can't do it. You have to have a system. Okay? You must become an expert. You must control the language of the business. You must take control of the language of the business. You need to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and why to say it. You must become an expert at the language of the business. This is a business where you are moving people through your words and through your energy. You are inspiring others to take actions that they normally would not take through your words and through your energy. So you must have a command of the language. You need to understand what moves people, how to say it, when to say it, and exactly what to say so that you know how to move people. You need to know how to move a prospect to get to a presentation. You need to know how to present to get a prospect to join. You need to know how to get a quick start training to prepare a prospect, either close them or get them prepared for launching their business. You need to know exactly what to say and how to say it and when to say it and why to say it to launch a new person's business so that you can set them up properly in the first 24 hours to get them a new associate at a minimum and to help them get to the most influential people. So you must become an expert at the language of the business. Now, here's something that I know when I shared this with Nancy Norton-Thurnell, she had not known this before. Many of you have maybe never been exposed to this, maybe you had. But if you look at network marketing, I've traveled all over the world. I've been in front of companies and in big rooms and small rooms in countries all over the world. What I always would do is I'd always go around the room in these trainings and say, why did you get in the business? Why did you get in the business? Why did you get in the business? It is a known fact among leaders in network marketing. And I actually tested it in countries all over the world just because I wanted to know for sure. 99% of new associates or new distributors join network marketing for residual income. 99% of all your new associates are getting in as an associate because they want residual income. They're not getting in because they like you. They're not getting in because the company has a fancy building or the owners are great and the staff is fantastic. They're not getting in because the technology is so amazing. Yes, you will have people who will become a customer because the product is so amazing. Yes, you will have some people who have such a great result with the product that they want to become an associate. But the people who are going to go build a business, a distribution channel with you, 99% of those people are only in it because of residual income. That means your language in every phone call, every presentation, every training, every closing, every launch of a new associate, every conversation with your team must be tailored around residual income and how to help them get it. If 99% of the people are joining, which some of you won't believe me on this, but it's a fact, on residual income, you need to have control of the language that is tailored to speak into the listening of people who want residual income. Most people are running around talking about the incredible technology, which is fantastic, but 99% of the people you're talking to about the technology really want a residual income. That's what they want, freedom. You need to tailor your messaging. You need to tailor your language, your approach, and how you're saying and what you're saying to these people, okay? So the language shift that you need to make in your business needs to be all about timing and positioning. When you're talking to new prospects, the shift that you need to make in your language needs to be about timing and positioning. You need to understand the psychology of how to create a sense of urgency for someone to want to come listen to this business. It's all about timing and positioning. You talked to Nancy Norton-Thurnell. At the beginning, they didn't know anything about the product. They didn't know anything about redox or molecules or anything. They didn't know anything. They just knew it worked because the scientists said so. It was all about get in now because this company is going to be the biggest thing on the planet. It's going to change the world. If you get in now, you sit on top of all of it. If you don't get in now, you're going to watch it happen. That was the whole conversation. Everybody was getting in because they didn't want to miss out. Let me repeat that. Everybody was getting in because they didn't want to miss out. And you heard Nancy say the other night, where the company has taken a turn is all this information came out about the product. And now all this incredible science and proof has come out about the product. And what's happened is a lot of the distributors have now turned and all they're talking about is the product. And the conversation about timing and positioning has been lost in many cases. And if you don't have a conversation going about timing and positioning, you lose the sense of urgency. If you're only building based on the fantastic nature of the product, there is no sense of urgency. You must have a sense of urgency to create momentum. It has to be there. The key, most important, impactful way to create urgency is a conversation about timing and positioning. You need to approach people and ask them questions that they're going to say yes to. You know, if I'm approaching William, I'm going to call him up and say, William, listen, I know you're busy. Do you have a quick second? Okay, great. Thank you. Listen, I know you're busy and I know you don't have any extra time whatsoever. But if there was a way to generate additional income without changing your schedule, would you want to know about it? See, I'm going to ask him a question that he has to say yes to. And then I'm going to introduce an expert or introduce the concept of timing and positioning. The conversation about timing positioning is something like this. Listen, we're currently in 31 countries, about to expand to over 100 countries globally. We barely have a footprint. We don't even have 0.5% market share globally right now. We have one of the most unique technologies on the planet. We are looking to identify 3 to 4 key individuals that don't necessarily need to do anything else, but based on who they are, their contacts, and their credibility, they can open some doors and make some introductions to a given marketplace for us. And by being the conduit that opens the doors and makes those introductions to a given city, state, or country or region, that person will sit on top of a percentage of all the revenue that will come not only out of that country, in the 31 countries we're currently in, but could potentially sit on a piece of the revenue that comes out every single country we're not even in yet. We have plans for expansion to over 100 countries in the next 3 to 5 years. We will be a global brand. We are building a global empire. And the people that we're looking for right now, even though they don't need it, would like to position themselves at the very beginning of what will be one of the largest expansions of technology in the health and wellness industry that the world has ever seen. That is a timing and positioning conversation. Your language shift needs to shift to that type of conversation. That will get people's attention. That is just one example of what kind of a shift can be made. So my question for each of you, and again, be honest, when it comes to the language you're using for the business, are you closing at least 80% of the prospects that you talk to into your team? When you have a conversation with somebody, when you do a call, when you do a presentation, when you do a training, are you closing at least 80% of those people into your team as associates? Is your team closing at least 80% of all people that you guys have conversations with into your team? Because if you're not, something isn't working as good as it should. If you don't have scripts, if you don't have a system in place, how could you know where the breakdown is? But in every conversation, you should be closing at least 80% of those people to want to come listen to a presentation. In every presentation, you should be closing at least 80% of those people as associates, or at least a customer, but at least 80% as associates. I mean, getting started in a C as an associate is like $130. Like, come on. At least 80%. Should be more like 90%. So my question is, are you closing at least 80%? If not, why not? Why are you not closing at least 80%? Where's the breakdown? Okay. Now, for those of you who want to understand scripts and language and psychology on how to do this, I do have that in my library. You're welcome to it. I put that out there for the ASEA people to have access. One of them is called The Secret Psychology and Language of How to Recruit Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere. It's a complete breakdown of the psychology of how people think and what to say. It includes scripts. Nancy Norton Thurnell wanted to get on the phone with me years ago because she listened to this training. And in that training, she said that was the best training she had ever heard on recruiting, on the psychology and what to say that she had ever heard in the industry. I'm humbly grateful for her saying that. You could talk to her about that and her experience with that. It changed the whole dynamic of how she presented herself in the business. It changed her entire trajectory of her business and how she shows up and what happens. So the language shift is absolutely mission critical for you to have, okay? There's another language. I have a whole library. I have over 100 hours, over 50 different trainings on exactly what to say step by step. There's another one I have that I've made available for ASEA. It's the enrollment of new associates, the exact process from approach to sign up. It's the exact step-by-step breakdown of the process that every single new prospect needs to go through. Now, why do you need to have a step-by-step system? It's not just so that, you can feel like everything's in order. How is it going to duplicate? How are you going to build and duplicate leaders in 31 countries independent of you if you don't have a system? There needs to be an exact process. This particular one that I've made available to you breaks it down exactly step by step. There's another one for you to take a look at. I believe I made this available to you as well that you can go to. How to effectively create and utilize a third-party expert to close every new prospect into your business. When you effectively understand the psychology of bringing in a third-party expert, and that expert knows what to say and how to say it, you should be getting 80 to 90% of the people wanting to come to join your business. You could be closing people right on the phone if you know what to say and how to say it. If you understand the dynamics of the psychology of using a third party, you can literally change the entire future of your business. You can't close your own people. Even as the #1 person in my company, I couldn't close my own people. I'm really good at closing people into network marketing. If I believe in it, I can close it. However, even as the #1 person with all my experience in my company, I couldn't close my own people because of the dynamics. People who are close to you don't listen to you. Well, how many of you are in a relationship? Then you know that to be true, right? So think about this. There's dynamics in psychology. This falls into what you don't know, but once you learn it, it's a game changer. Here's another group of presentations and trainings that I've made available. How to give an effective presentation for ASEA. I actually worked with some of your top leaders in about a year ago, year and a half ago. I think it was about a year ago, a year and a half. And I was looking at a lot of the presentations that they were using. These are some of your top leaders, and I was looking at the presentations they were using. I helped them streamline it, take some stuff out, put in some key bullet points about the products, focus the whole presentation on residual income, give them the timing of how they needed to deliver the information, how to close with the training, and how to give the big picture vision at the end, and then close it, all within 35 minutes. The people who took the information that we used to change up the ASEA presentation had told me that they went out and the numbers of people that were closing went way up. Like, I believe they're now at least 80% of the people are getting closed using those presentations. The first presentation I ever saw that Nancy took me to was in Salt Lake City, an ASEA presentation, and it went about an hour and a half. She actually asked me to say a few words during the presentation, which I did, and I think it was about an hour and a half by the time it was done. And she looked at me and said, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Could use some work." The reason is information was being given, all this information about the product, which is exciting for the ASEA rep to hear. And I know you're excited about it. I know you want to share it with the world, but you have to get into the thinking of the people sitting in the audience. You have to get into their listening. You have to get into their thinking. Is it simple? Does it work? Can I do it? Those are the questions they're asking. They're not asking about redox molecules. They're asking, is it simple? Does it work? Can I do it? Period. Your whole presentation has to be around answering those questions, and a really good presentation is going to answer those questions before they think of them. A really good presentation is going to take away the objections systematically before the person even comes up with them, so that by the time you get done presenting, they have no questions. You know you're doing an effective presentation when there's no questions. It's like, I get it, I'm in. That's when you know you have an effective presentation, because you've taken away all the questions and the objections before they thought of them. A really good presentation is focused around residual income, period. You build and build and build and build and build, and then right at about 25 minutes in, you hit residual income, you explain it so that they understand it, and then then every word you say after that starts to go down. So after residual income, you close with the training and you're off. This is all psychology on how to effectively present what you have to offer. So I made these available. It's how to give an effective presentation, custom designed for ASEA. Also, the effective presentation, where the training that I give and a discussion with some of the industry top producers on how to close up to 90% of the guests every time. This is just some of the library. There's tremendous amounts and volumes and volumes and volumes of training videos on all these topics. I just wanted to give you some examples of them. Just to show you an example of someone who has used this information, Janelle Lee. She's in a, let's call it a health and wellness company. She's in Jeunesse Global. It's a different product, obviously. It's nothing like ASEA. When I met her, she was making around $30,000 a month. She wanted to increase her business. I worked with her, got her set up on the system, taught some of her key peoples the system, and we started to roll it out. What happened in her business is she increased her check by over $100,000 a month. Not to $100,000 a month. She increased $100,000 a month within 1 year. Additional $100,000 a month within 1 year using the system. She wrote, after I did your training for my team, they all got excited. My check broke my record because you have done such a great training for us. Your training works. Here's the key. I feel different and my team feels different. You are my coach. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. She was a diamond at that point. I believe she's now a triple diamond in Jeunesse. So she increased an additional $100,000 in 1 year by using this system, okay? Now, shifts on strategy. We talked about the mindset. We talked a little bit about the strategy, the language. Let's talk about strategy as well. You need to understand this business is about building teams of people to help you identify independent leaders. Let me say that again. It's about building teams of people to help you identify independent leaders. Okay, the strategy is recruiting people with influence. You must become an expert at finding team builders who can build at least 25 or more new associates on their team within the first 30 days of sign up. Again, you must become an expert at finding team builders who could build at least 25 or more associates on their team within the first 30 days of sign up. So you must become an expert of finding motivated people who can influence other people. I'll say that again. You must become an expert of finding motivated people who can influence others. Again, 3 types of associates. 97% are going to be normal associates. They're going to basically get a handful of customers and possibly enroll 1 or 2 people. 2 to 2.5% are going to be recruiters. They're going to sponsor at least 10 people or more personally. And somewhere between 0 and maybe 0.5% will actually be leaders that will go to the top of the company. The characteristics of a leader, what you're looking for, I would take a picture of this. It's important. They're extremely motivated to do the business. Not just motivated, they're motivated to build a business in ASEA. They're great with people. People are naturally drawn to them. They can influence others easily. They present themselves very well. They're articulate. People respond. They're very confident. They're goal-driven. They're obviously able to recruit easily. Here's a key. They start leading their team. They don't wait for you. They come in, they start leading their team right away, and they don't wait for you. Obviously, they attend all presentations and training events, but just because someone attends all presentation and training events doesn't mean they're a leader. And they show you that they want to learn everything you know. They pick your brain, they hound you, they pest you, they don't let up on you. They want to know everything you have plus everything else. That's a good indicator. And the number one thing to show you have a leader is a do whatever it takes attitude. They are willing to do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what it is, they'll do it as long as it's in integrity, okay? So you're looking for people who have influence. Influence by definition is a noun. It's the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. So it's the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone, or to have influence on. Synonyms means to impact, determine, guide, control, shape, govern, decide. You're looking for people who have influence, who can influence others. This is a business of credibility and contacts. This is a business where you use language and your energy to inspire others to action. Now, you're going to need to learn to sort for independent leaders. You're going to need to learn that this is not a business where you're selling people on the value of ASEA. The definition of sorting is to separate according to type or class. In my words, that means you're identifying what already exists. The definition of selling means to persuade someone of the merits of, which means you're convincing someone for a certain outcome, okay? We need to learn to sort. Some of you saw me cover this on Thursday. I'll cover it again really quickly. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest possible ability to influence others, let's say for an example, you're an 8. You have what it takes to influence others, and on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you're an 8, as an example. Well, when you get started in network marketing, you're gonna do what all people do. You're gonna call people who listen to you. It is a natural human behavior of something called the ego to want to be heard, want to be successful, and want to be accepted. Therefore, you're gonna naturally call people that you feel will listen to you. So if you're an 8, the people that look up to you or will listen to you about business are typically maybe 7s. Maybe they're an 8, but maybe they're 7s because they look up to you. Well, if a 7 comes in, they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna call people that will listen to them. So they call the 6s. The 6s call the 5s. The 5s call the 4s. The 4s call the 3s. The 3s call the 2s. The 2s call the 1s. I don't want to say someone's a 0, but on the scale of influence, there are people who literally have no influence over others. This is called recruiting down. This is what happens in network marketing. Everybody, because of ego, is not calling, they're not calling their best, most influential people because they don't think the best, most influential people would get in. So what do? They call the people that they think they can get in. What happens? Recruits down, and you get less influential, less motivated people, and eventually you're sitting there scratching your head wondering, how come my team's not working? Why is your team not working? Because you don't have a system in place. You're not working the 24-hour rule. You probably don't have a command of the language the way you want, and people are recruiting down, not up. You want to be going after everybody. You want to have them talk to everybody. But you don't want them to prejudge their most successful people. My business was built off of 9s and 10s primarily. I found people that were more successful than me. With every new associate, we found people that were more successful than them, more influential than them, could open more doors, knew more people, could influence more people. If you're an 8 and you recruit a 9, let's say you bring in 50 people into your business, the 9 will bring in 500. The 10 will bring in 1,000. That's what you're looking for. the same amount of effort to have a conversation, a presentation, a training. One person who's a number 10 influential will bring in 100 times more people than a number 1 or number 2. I'll say that again. A person who's at a level 10 of influence will bring in 100 times more people than a number 1 or number 2. If you're going to do the work and take the time out of your life to do a conversation and a presentation and a training and launch someone in their business and support them, what would you rather do? Would you rather support someone who could bring in 100 people effortlessly, or support somebody who can possibly maybe bring in 1? Now, I'm not saying don't work with everybody. I'm saying don't prejudge the most successful people you know. You want to find the most motivated, successful, influential people you know. If you're going to build a global distribution center that's going to go into 31, soon 100, 150 countries, who do you want on your board of directors? Who do you want running your company so you could be on the beach, or you could be chilling out with your family, not even worrying about it because they've got it and they're running it better than you could? That's who you want to recruit. With every new associate, you want their board of directors. You want their most influential. You want their most successful. You want them on your team. So what you do is you got to work the numbers. You want to work the system and work the numbers. Every 24 hours, you want to identify, the moment someone signs up, you want to identify their 10 best and their 10 easiest. The 10 best, their board of directors. Who are the most influential people they know? Who are the people that they're sure will never, ever do the business? But if they got in, they would do incredible things beyond what anyone thought was possible. And who are the easiest? Who are the 10 people that will join just because they said so? You want to talk to, with them, you want them to speak with their 10 best and their 10 easiest in the first 24 hours. They're not to do anything else. Nothing else, the first 24 hours. Because if you're doing your job properly and you have control of the language, out of those 10 easiest, you're going to close 7, 8, or 9 of them. What does that do for your new person? It gets them massive success the first week, creates massive momentum, creates value, belief, excitement like you've never seen, and you're off and running. Out of those 10 best, you might close 1 or 2. You do this every new associate, every 24 hours, and you keep working it down. You keep doing this with every new associate. 10 best, 10 easiest. 10 best, 10 easiest. 10 best, 10 easiest. And you keep working through the system. There's a lot more training to do on this. I wanted to give you the concept so you could see how it works. And then you need to keep working that down on all the side legs. Every new associate that comes in, whether you sponsor them or not, you have to keep doing this, which means you must have a system in place. You can't do this if you don't. There'll be too many people coming in, too many conversations. Everything has to be cookie cutter and set up. You have to have exactly the right thing said so that they know what to say to their 10 best, so that they know what to say to their 10 easiest. If they don't have the confidence to say to their 10 best, you need to have a plan B in place. You can't do everything. The only way to keep momentum going is to have a system that finds their 10 best, 10 easiest within 24 hours. Boom, 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 boom. That's part of it, but that is momentum. So let me ask you and be honest. As we move towards the home stretch here, let me ask you, no matter what level you're at, when it comes to recruiting people with influence, my question is, how many successful, self-motivated people are you recruiting into your team who are able to close 25 or more new associates in their first 30 days? I don't care if you're diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, doesn't matter. Question: how many successful, self-motivated people are you recruiting into your team for every new associate that are able to close at least 25 or more new associates in their first 30 days? If you can't answer that, then you're not working the numbers properly and you're not being strategic the way that you need to be. There are people out there that can put in more than 25 in their first 30 days. my first meeting, I started on a Tuesday, Thursday at 6:30, I had 62 people that were very successful at my house. I called 63, 62 made it. One got in a little fender bender on the way there. That was my first meeting. Within 48 hours, I put 62 people in the room. There are people out there that will put 100 people in their business in the first 30 days. If you don't have them being talked to, if you're not in conversations with those people, every new associate is a doorway to thousands of people. Every new associate is a doorway to the most influential people who could lead you to tens of thousands of people. If you're not closing for every new associate in the first week, at least one person who could put 25 people in the first month, you're missing the mark. You're not working the business as efficiently as you could be. So for those of you who really want to learn how to do this, I've made this available for ASEA. I have a whole section of training modules on this because it's the most important piece of it. But these are a couple of examples. One module is how to reach your new associate's most influential contacts when your associate has little or no confidence. When your new person is too nervous or has too much fear to call their best people, what do you do? What do you say? How do you approach it? Another one, how to reach your new associate's most influential contacts when your associate has influence over others. When you have someone who comes in and that associate is able to influence others, you need to have an entirely different conversation with that person. They're going to handle things completely differently. They're going to call their people themselves, but they need to follow a script because the script needs to be the same throughout. So a person with no confidence is going to need your help. That's one script, and that's one set of steps. A person with confidence is going to be able to call their people and influence their people and doesn't need as much help. That's another script and another set of steps, both leading to the same thing. How you handle two different people based on their confidence level is part of the library. Okay, another key module in the library, sorting versus selling. How to identify true independent leaders instead of trying to make them. Sorting versus selling. This is such a critical piece. Again, there is a huge training library, which you guys will see, and it's got everything in there, step by step, over 20 years of experience put into hundreds of hours of training. But this is one of the key ones that if you're going to take a look for the one that's sorting versus selling, how to identify true independent leaders instead of trying to make them. Here's an example. This is a Arbonne leader who was one of the top producers in Arbonne. Her business had slowed down. At the time that she met me, there was about, I think 12 or 15 Arbonne leaders that were all top producers that I came as a group and wanted me to work with them. So I worked with them collectively as a group. In her particular business, I think she was doing about 8 new associates a month. And for Arbonne at that time, that was good. She came in, she got started, she started to work with me. And what happened? She says this, after applying Jeff's process to my organization over the last 6 weeks, I've seen significant growth. In a 48-hour period, we signed 13 new consultants, which are like associates. A small group who are working with and following the system. 48-hour period, 13 new associates. It works if you follow the steps and stick to it exactly, Lisa Lambert. That's one of my clients who was able to take things and produce them. By the end of her second month, she had done over 100 new consultants or associates. So she went from 8 to over 100 new ones, literally in a period of 30 days after starting to implement the system. So the last piece of this, that gives you the concepts of where you need to become experts to duplicate out this system. The last piece is you must become an expert at teaching those motivated people who can influence others the system. You must be able to teach the system to those motivated people who have influence, to those recruiters or to the potential leaders, okay? You must be able to teach the system. Now, if you don't have a system that is cookie cutter, then what are you going to teach? How are they going to duplicate? So your goal is to sort through your organization for leaders who can then create advanced momentum for you. You want to sort through your organization fast. Every 24 hours, someone's sponsoring someone new until you find recruiters or potential leaders. Then you latch onto them, you pull them aside, and you do completely different level of training with them. You need to get them to be an expert at all the basic stuff as fast as possible, but then you start a mentoring process with the goal of having them to be independent of you within 30 to 60 days. So again, with every new person, you're working down within 24-hour segments, the 24-hour rule, 10 best, 10 easiest, 10 best, 10 easiest, 10 best, 10 easiest. When you do this, by the time you get 4 generations deep to 7 generations deep, you'll typically find a recruiter. Statistically, when you get 4 to 7 generations deep, you will find a recruiter, okay? Now, once you find a recruiter, there is a specific process on how to work past them using the 24-hour rule, working below your recruiter, building their business with them, below them, with them at your side in your back pocket. While you're building their business and driving momentum, right? Underneath your recruiter, every 24 hours, every new associate, there's some specific things you need to be saying and doing with that recruiter. You have to put a whole new level of expectations on them. You have to use a lot of psychology. You have to teach them a lot of psychology. There's a lot of things that start the moment you find a recruiter. For me, someone's a recruiter when they sponsor 10 or more associates. But when you're sorting for leaders, you go past your recruiters and you keep working down below your recruiters while you begin to mentor them. So once you find a recruiter, you're going to keep showing them by example how to drive that 24-hour rule deep in the organization every 24 hours, getting to the most influential, the 10 best, 10 easiest, and keep driving it deep while you're mentoring the recruiter and you keep going deep. There's actually a mentoring formula. There's a whole series of psychology, scripts, and training on this. Once you find a recruiter who shows you that they're motivated and that they can sponsor people easily, what do you do with them? How do you get them independent of you within 30 to 60 days? What's your strategy? What's your system to get them independent within 30 to 60 days? The mentoring formula. Now, there's training modules on each piece of this, but I broke it down to something simple. First, you tell somebody 5 to 10 times. If I want to teach you how to peak interest effectively using the language of timing and positioning, I'm going to tell you 5 to 10 times. I'm going to say the script, and then you're going to listen. And I'm going to say it again, then you're going to listen. I'm going to say it again 5 to 10 times. Then I'm going to do it live in front of you. I'm going to show you live how to do it, and you're going to watch. Step 3, I'm then going to allow you to do it live. I'm going to have you say it 5 to 10 times to me. I'm going to critique, make sure you got it right. And then step 3 is I'm going to allow you to do it to someone else, and I'm going to watch you do it to someone else. Step 4, after you give that presentation of whatever type of presentation is to someone else, I need to manage you on what you did. I need to manage your language. I need to help manage your posture, your energy, your attitude, the length of time you spoke, all of it. So I need to know how to manage you to bring you into an alignment of being the most efficient you could be. Then we're going to repeat the process. I'm going to tell you again 5 to 10 times. I'm going to show you live a couple times. I'm going to allow you to do it. I'm going to manage you. We're going to repeat it again. And you have to do this with every single skill set. Every single skill set on what it takes to be a leader. You have to do this process and mentor them on each skill set, which means you have to be an expert on each skill set as you're driving the organization with them while you continue to work every 24 hours with every new associate. So you have to know your stuff. You have to have a system. So my question, this is the last question I'm going to ask, and then we'll finish. When it comes to sorting, identifying, and mentoring leaders, my question, to you is, how many potential leaders have you mentored to be independent of you within their first 30 to 60 days? Doesn't matter what position you're at. How many potential leaders have you personally mentored such that they became independent of you and could run their own team and create momentum, maintain the momentum, and advance the momentum in their own team, independent of you, within their first 30 to 60 days? If you're not doing this, if you're not finding these people and you're not duplicating them out in the first 30 to 60 days, you are missing the entire game. This is not a 6-month, 1-year, 2-year process. This process is about finding people fast, identifying them, and then duplicating them out within 30 to 60 days, independent going. Then there's a whole new level of training. Once you have them independent, how do you manage them? How do you keep watching them to make sure the system's uniform? And then how do you manage them? Really important question. If you don't have the proper answer on this, then you need to make a shift. All of these areas that we talked about, you must be an expert at being and teaching. Look at all these different skill sets. You think about one single skill set. You have to know tons of language, all these scripts, when to use it, how to use it, why to use it. Every single one of these has scripts. Every single one of them has psychology. Every single one of them has timing. All of it is a complete, robust, step-by-step, cookie-cutter system you need to have in place so that you can mentor people out of it. So for those ASEA leaders that want to learn this stuff, I've made this available. I've got a whole section of the library on mentoring. Here's a couple of examples: how to identify, train, and duplicate independent leaders in your organization. Full training module. Another one, the required skills you must master and teach to potential independent leaders to duplicate a team which will grow independently of your efforts. I've got all these different mentoring training modules on exactly what you need to do and the system you need to do with leaders or potential leaders to mentor them out independent of you. Here's a couple more. Duplicating leaders, the strategy, the system. Another one, another incredible training module that I did, the proven step-by-step formula for teaching, training, and mentoring top producing leaders on your team. On my team, I personally mentored over 48, I think it was 48 or 49 top producers. That means on my team, I identified and mentored that many people. I think it ended up being 48. That many people who went on to become a top producer in the company. I remained a top producer. I remained a top 10 producer, number 1 producer, even though I kept spitting out and identifying and mentoring new top 10 producers. I couldn't count their production. So if they became a top producer, top 10, I didn't get to count any of that. It was all my new business, my new growth that I got to count. So we were out producing everybody. We produced more top producers than any other team in the company. This is cookie cutter. You want to build a global empire? Cookie cutter. Here's one last testimonial. Another Arbonne top producer, Tegan. She wrote, "I've been working with Jeff for 6 weeks and I have never felt stronger or more certain about my business. The momentum I have seen already has blown me away as the simplicity of what Jeff has taught has reignited all of us." Her business had flatlined. She was one of the ones that came in the group, went through the moon. We are approaching 300 new consultants in my central this month. That means her new legs, not underneath her existing leaders, her new legs, creating from nothing. We are approaching 300 new consultants in my central, and based on the momentum we anticipate, we'll have 1,000 consultants per month here shortly. So she went from stagnant to 300, right? A month to up on approaching and hit 1,000 consultants a month based on from a stagnant group by using the system. She said, "I look forward to working with Jeff long term." Just so you know, in case you haven't heard, a couple of the top leaders in ASEA that I have had the good fortune of teaching the system to, that have been using aspects of the system or the full system. Malcolm Swart, I just heard about his moving speech at convention recently. From the time he completed the training with me, he went from gold to triple diamond within 7 to 8 months. I don't know if it was 7 or 8 or somewhere in between, but he went from gold to triple diamond after completing the training with me within 7 to 8 months. Deb Wetzler, as you know, most of you know Deb. She went from double diamond to triple diamond after completing the training. Debbie just told me a few days ago, so I put it in here, since completing the training with me, her volume has increased every single week by 5,000 a week. Her points have gone up 5,000 a week every single week. Her enrollments are up every single week. Her income is up every single week, growing. So she, even at double diamond, you think she's got such a big organization, which she does. Now, by implementing some of these things, if not all of these things, her volume is up every week, her enrollments and her income. Sep and Yeska went from platinum to diamond within 6 months after their legs had flipped. When I started working with them, one of their legs had flipped over, and so it basically they had to start from, scratch on one leg to build out all that volume. By implementing these systems, they went from where they were at platinum with basically a flat leg, went diamond within 6 months. Morton Anderson, one of the newest diamonds in ASEA, he was at platinum. He had hit platinum and hit a plateau and had been there for quite some time. I told Morton I was going to help him with a huge shift. I knew it was coming, and I told him when it happened, he would go diamond like that, and he did. Morton just got announced as diamond, I believe in September, I just found out. And he is running like crazy now. Now, that's not everybody I've worked with. That's just a few of the people that you may know. So my question for you as we end here is, where are you now? Where are you in your volume? Every single day, are you increasing volume? Where are you in your enrollments? Are you increasing? Where are you in your income? Is it going up every single day? Is the income of your team, the enrollments and the volume of your team going up every day? And where are you in your rank position? Are you where you want to be? Okay, remember we talked about the illusion of awareness? There's the things you know, and you're aware that you know them. There's the things you don't know, and you're aware that you don't know them. And there's this whole giant section of what you don't know you don't know. You're not even aware that you don't know it. In network marketing, just as in life, the majority of what we don't know and what we don't know, that whole section is what controls how our reality shows up. So until you can become aware and until you can make the shifts that you need to inside yourself with your belief system, thoughts, and feelings, and in your strategy and your languaging and how you move in your business, until you can discover what you don't know, you stay where you are. But when you come along to someone or something that can expose what you don't know and bring forth the information to you and the awareness to you and help you through those shifts, that's when everything changes. So the shifts you need to make, what is your system? And if you don't have a system that is doing at least all the things we talked about tonight, what's your plan? If you don't have a system that is accomplishing everything we said tonight, then what is your plan to get one? So, I told you at the beginning, I hope that you were going to make a decision by the end of this training, and I know I went long and I know I gave a lot. I don't know how to give anything other than everything I have. So I wanted you to be able to walk away with knowing the key parts of building this business. If you and I never speak again, that you have it. And I told you I wanted you to be able to make a decision. If we never speak, at least I hope that you make a decision to shift in your life, to go for it like you've never gone for it before, to do what you have to do to shift your belief system, to expand the possibilities beyond what you thought were possible, to shift your strategy, to shift your activity, to shift how you manage your time and what activity you're doing and how you run your team. I hope that for you. because what you're sitting on is beyond incredible. You have a chance to not only change your life, but the lives of millions of people around the world directly impacted by you and your team, and to change the entire health and wellness of the planet. That's what you have. So please don't mess with it. Take it seriously. You know, you can either stay at the same level you're at now, or you can take action to change your life, whether it's with me or outside of me. I hope that for you. So how can I help? I told Nancy Norton Thurnell last week, this is probably going to be my last network marketing training. I had stopped training 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think 2015 was the last time I did a network marketing training. Through a course of events and conversations with Nancy, in 2017, I taught those ASEA leaders plus a whole other group. In addition to that, they've had massive results. Nancy and I were talking last week. I told her the progress of my project, and I kind of gave a joke, but it was serious. I said, last call on me, last call on Jeff Carlisle. I said, if you want any part of my brain or what I have, then you need to do what you want with it right now, because it's not going to be available anymore. If everything goes well, then I'm going to pretty much be off the radar from now on. So she said, no, please, let's expose this to as many people as are ready for it. So right now, I'm willing at this moment, based on my conversations with Nancy, to help those who want to take your business beyond what you thought was possible. What I'm doing is I'm going to do a ASEA Advanced Leadership Program. Now, if you're getting told about this training, if you're watching this video, you've been invited. So if you are watching this video, you have been invited to participate in this program, okay? It's going to be a leadership program that I'm doing personally. I'm the one doing the training. It's my training, it's my system, it's my insights, it's my 20 plus years of experience in teaching top owners of companies and leaders. Me. No one else is doing the training, just Jeff. And I'm doing it personally. Now, just to give you an idea, when I consult for companies, I usually get paid based on the growth of the company. So I'm not a typical consultant. I don't just get paid some hourly, little thing. If I come in to help a company, and I've helped some of the most successful in the industry, I get paid a percentage of the sales and the growth. That's the value that I bring to those companies, and companies have been willing to pay it because of what the return is based on this information that I have to share, based on the growth that happens every single time someone applies this system. When I mentor top leaders or associates, my rate is $1,500 per hour. So if you're working with me one-on-one, it's $1,500 per hour, just to give you an idea of what my typical consulting rates are. Now, because of Nancy Thurnell and her request to me, and because I believe in ASEA so much, I put together this last 12-week program for ASEA leaders. The program includes over 100 hours of training by me, 100 hours of webinar training on every single aspect from start to finish, from approaching a new prospect all the way to mentoring and duplicating leaders and leadership information and training. All the way through everything you need to know to build your network marketing business and duplicate independent leaders. Over 50 training modules, over 100 hours, and I'm doing live coaching calls. I'm going to be doing 8 live coaching calls over the 12 weeks. 8 live coaching calls. And if you got a sense of me by now, I'm thorough. So it's not like a little half-hour call and get off. I stay there until everybody gets it. We're going to be doing role playing. You're going to hear me, how I deliver the information. You're going to get to watch me do what I do, so you can watch and learn and listen to how to deliver the information. It's the most valuable thing you could ever do, is to watch somebody who knows how to do it, do it. You're going to understand the psychology behind it, and you're going to see how to do it. And we're going to role play that. And you're going to understand it's going to change anyone who does this. It's going to change your entire future. I can tell you that with absolute certainty. So what Nancy did was she convinced me to give you a special offer. The special offer was going to, be done tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I decided to do this training. We did a big discussion, Nancy and I, the other night. I decided to do this training so that the information would get to you understand the importance and the critical nature of what I'm offering. So I extended it for this week. So those people who want to do this program, it's a one-time offer. $3,000, one time. There's a multiple payment plan you could see on the website. If you need to make multiple payments, the price is a little bit higher, but you can do that. But for those who want to do the advanced leadership program, it's $3,000. You're getting all my entire library and 8 very proficient and effective coaching calls live with me. So that's a one-time offer. I want to pass this information on to each of you that are serious, that want to go out and use it to change your life and change the lives of millions of people. That is part of my commitment to giving back to this industry. It's part of my commitment to helping people and companies that I believe are going to change the world, and that is ASEA. So if you want to do that, we're going to start the week of November 26th. We're going to start with an introduction call. We're going to then do the week after, we're going to do a training on building in the holidays. We're going to talk about how to build through the holidays. Everyone's coming into the Thanksgiving and holiday season where you're going to be seeing so many people and exposed to huge groups of people. So I'm going to talk in detail about how to make the most and drive your volume through the roof in December, November and December. Also in December, you're going to have access to the entire video library, so you can watch as many training videos on every part of the business as you want. And then we're going to actually start these step-by-step coaching calls covering each piece of the system starting the first week of January. So that's how we're going to set it up. If you have any interest in doing that, go to the website. You can enroll directly. The website is www.createleadersnow.com. Again, createleadersnow.com. If you have any questions, you could either email info@createleadersnow.com. I'll try to get to as many as I can as fast as I can. A faster route could be to email Nancy directly, Nancy Norton Thurnell. She's going to help answer some questions for me, or at least point you in the direction of finding me. So if for some reason you don't hear back from me right away by using the website, email, you can get a hold of Nancy and she's going to direct you on how to either get the best information or the answers or get a hold of me. But the website has all the information, everything you need, a breakdown of the entire library, all the training modules, the different subjects, everything you need. So with that, for those of you who are serious, I truly look forward to working with you and passing on everything I've learned over the last 20 years to you so that you can go out and do something special. You have a very, very, very special company. You have very special ownership that's behind the company. And I've met some of the corporate staff who are very wonderful people. You've got a great comp plan. You've got a product like no other on the planet. And I hope that you understand how serious this is and what it means to the planet and for people's lives all over the world. So for those of you who are serious about doing this in a very big way, I am willing to pass on all that I know to you as fast as I can before I move on with my projects that are not related to network marketing. So with that being said, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please feel free to forward it to anyone you want in ASEA that you feel could benefit. We're going to keep this open for this week, and I think Friday we'll close out the group, and then that'll be it. Okay? So if you have a desire to really do something special and change your financial future and that of people all over the world, then by all means, I strongly urge you to take a serious look at this. So thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to working with those of you that I'll be seeing here very soon. So thank you very much.